The Tape Never Lies Network.
The tape never lies. Tape never lies.
Starts now.
The tape never lies.
P.O.P. Hold it down.
It's performance over politics. Performance over politics.
The following show is for mature audiences only.
Watch the tape, and when you see the tape, you know the tape doesn't lie, and there's just the tape doesn't lie.
Everybody's feeling this way. Everybody's mad. I mean, nobody's happy about his loss. Just we always get told that we're almost there. We're almost there. Like me personally, I'm tired of being almost there. I'm tired of being, just this close. I feel like I've been hearing it for so long now. But at the end of the day, all you can do is get back to work. That's the only reaction you have. Live and you learn, and get back next week and keep going, keep getting better.
So I'm thinking going into 2005 season, I'm like, okay, well, I almost had 1,000 yards. I missed, I think, 1-2 games because I had hyperextended toe that I played with. I played hurt all year. But I almost still had 1,000, my first 1,000-yard season in the NFL. So things are looking up. So I'm thinking they're going to go draft a receiver, somebody that can help us, bring in a free agent quarterback that's experienced, something that's going to give me some help, And so they bring in Moose, but then I'm like, well, they didn't really bring anybody else. Skill position wise, you know what I mean? So that was kind of a red flag. And then right before I started hearing right when we got started for off-season program, I was in Chicago and I started hearing people say that, the Bears are going to draft a running back. I'm like, what? They just signed a 4-year deal and I just had almost 1,000 yards and the fans seem to like me and I love the fans, I love the city and I love the offense and I feel like I'm fit here finally for a change. I'm somewhere where I feel like I can get in and stay. And so I'm like, okay, I don't believe it. I have to believe it when I see it. And then I get a call from Lovey before the draft. And I was actually here in my house in Florida, and he called me and said, hey, just want to let you know that we're going to take a running back with that first pick. It starts with the politics up here, then it goes down to the coaches, then it goes down to the players. So we get to the Super Bowl, and I know that if you go back and watch those games, every 2 series, Sid and I were alternating. Every 2 series. And it had been that way since Coach Spencer told me that in 2005 against the Lions, the second game of the season, that it's going to be you go 2, he goes 2, regardless. So I know if I break an 80-yard run on the 3rd carry, or on the 2nd series, I break an 80-yard run, I know when I come out, I'm not going in the 3rd series. It doesn't matter what I do. So, mind you, that's what I understand. But then we hear at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So although I understand the business of the NFL and I understand all the bullshit, I'm still thinking, this is it. This is the game. All that's out the window.
Yeah.
Run inside zone again to the right, or run inside zone again to the left, because I know what they're doing. I come to the sideline. Spence, go directly to him. Don't take me out. Don't take me out. I'm like, don't, I'm literally pleading with him, begging. I'm like, don't take me out. I know what they're doing. I've seen this in my dreams. I've watched this shit all week. I know what they're gonna do. Run inside zone again. The same play to the left. And Spence is like, I got you. So I'm like, Spence, do not take me out. Now, this is not on Spence, mind you.
Right.
So he's in the toughest predicament ever because he's like, I love both of these guys. Like, says, I know he's a young kid, but Thomas is like almost like a little a brother to me as a mentor to these other players, you know, the younger players. Says like my kid. So I'm on the sidelines and I'm just like, oh shit, I can't wait to get back in. And then they stop him, and you know, I get ready to run. I grab my helmet, I run in, and he puts his hand in, like says going in. And I threw my helmet down, and I'm like going off on the sidelines. Like, game. I'm just what I told you, keep me in the game. Like I'm going crazy on the sidelines, and he's like, Thomas, you gotta relax. You gotta relax. It's not coming from me. It's coming from somebody else. No, I'm not saying that they did that because they didn't want me to have a good game or they didn't want me to shine, because I had already done well in some of these other games. Maybe it was because they wanted to just go two series, and maybe they felt that had worked, and that was, you know, that was the pattern to keep us both fresh, you know, for the first half. And then the second half, I'm not saying anything I'm not saying somebody deliberately did anything, but what I'm saying is, if Sid had broken a 52-yard run and it was my series, that's what I'm gauging it off of. Would they have put me back in?
Been listening to you guys since I want to say like 2018, and you guys have always been there. It's important, man. You're educating a fan base that if you go on social media, there's some dumb shit being said, and you guys have taught me so much about football and hell, even life. 2 minutes isn't long enough, by the way. I'm like Phil, I can't shut the fuck up. So much love, guys. Bear down.
You guys have that brotherhood and have that camaraderie, and it's genuine, and I feel it through the screen, and I connect with it, and it is what helped me through so many tough times, and I am so thankful to have found you guys. You guys are real. You're not only talking real football shop technique, strategy, approach to the game, but you're also real with each other. And real with your followers, and that means the world, you know. Like that's a connection that a lot of people don't have anymore. Keep it up, keep it going, don't stop for anybody. Cheers, bear down.
I just want to say thank you for motivating me to start playing football, to really appreciate the game in a different way, not only watching it but also playing it. Thank you for the best breakdowns out there, and you guys are just amazing, and I'm just so pumped for your future and where you guys will go. I think you're gonna blow up, especially when the Bears become a really good team. And with this new regime, I think there's a big chance that the Bears will blow up. And when the Bears are under hype, I think we as a TTNL family and you guys as the content creators, you guys are just gonna skyrocket. And I'm really pumped for you, and just stay the course, man. Love you guys.
My TTL family means everything to me. I learn about football, passion, Chicago Bears, and most important, a network and family of lifelong friends.
Here at Epcot today, representing the TTNL Tape Never Lies Network today in honor of Phil Latoshin, Draft Dr. Phil. He's a freaking man. You don't know about this man? YouTube, Draft Dr. Phil, TTNL. Just do it. Chicago Bears. One-stop shop. This place has everything. TTNL. like does Disney.
You're on the air, baby. You're on. You did it. You made it.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Here we
go.
Trading up.
100.
Yes! What?
Oh my
Here
God.
it is! Just recorded. Oh, shit!
The tape never lies.
All the people drop off, but we still keep rocking.
You'll never know how good your football team's going to be until you play with maximum effort.
Keeping it 100.
Open competition over the North and never give it back.
Smartest man.
My Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man and Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keeping it 100, never running east to west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the freaking anchor, forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shane's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shane got some haters. But now them out stumped like the Jew and now and later. Debaters, frauds get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sacks trolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they'll never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Shane. What we do when we're breaking down the Bears. Fuck a play or a captain, all of the unfair. The tape never lies. The truth, you see, we laugh, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a sad nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like Trick Sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man and Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Justin Fields gets outside the pocket, puts that ball perfectly where only Mooney can get it. 1 point, 2 feet.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Birds never lie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, it's your girl, Lady Bear. Appreciate all the love I'm already getting before the show even kick off, but we got another fun show for y'all tonight. You know, we've been killing it with the guests week by week, and we got another great guest coming up with Blache coming on tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in the fellas, because that's who you really here to see. I love all of Okay, we got Shane. I'm sure that was you, Shane. And we
No, I would never do something like that.
What up? You nailed it.
She did. Claude
Christian Hines is right.
Yeah, Claude's hit it twice in 2.5 years, and Sheree
lot
comes
of
out the
shows.
box and boom. Yeah,
A lot of yos on a lot of shows.
That's right.
He's a yo-yo. You never play with your yo. You never mess with your yo-yo. What am I
Sheree
doing?
shows up for Wednesday practice, Tevin. Why can't you?
Oh my God.
I don't know. I got
Oh,
a challenge for me tonight.
I don't know where to begin. It's been a long time. Feels
Yeah.
like.
We got a ways to go. Yeah, still.
I kind of like took a hiatus to football. Or not football.
You and me,
the
bro.
Bears.
Yeah.
Took
You
a
and me
hiatus
both, bro.
to the Bears. And then, Sheree, I got back into cutting the tape. I like put it aside. And then I started cutting the tape, and it's like, again, I know the patrons, I put the Draft Dr. Phil, the tape never lies out there yesterday, the full concoction of it. And today put it out on our YouTube channel, the appetizer, right, Ivan? And I said in this, I think it's and it's hard to rank it, but it is up in the top 3 worst offensive line performances I've ever been a witness to in regards to the Chicago Bears, not analyzing any other teams. I've done this, with the All 22 since the NFL gave us the Game Pass. Now it's the NFL Plus. And who was the originator, the OG. So looking at this stuff and pointing out the truth has been my pursuit, because there's so much. As the fan, I didn't catch his name, for God's sake. I apologize. Did any of you catch his name in the truck?
Cody? That one?
Maybe it was Cody.
I was mesmerized by the mustache, man. I don't know how the fuck anybody can.
Oh, it wasn't Cody. Hans' mustache.
No, Cody was before the mustache. Yeah.
I need the guy that was in the truck. I totally
the one that was driving. That was Cody Hahn. Yeah.
Oh, okay, Cody. 100%.
Yeah, there he is. Crazy
Cody.
Cujo.
There he
is.
That was me. There you go, Cody. And I appreciate. Now I know you're Crazy Cujo. It all makes sense now.
Yeah, see, that's what fucks us up here. Is everybody like? I've run into that problem on Patreon.
How could you not know me?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know who football fan 9736988 is. I don't know how it. That's exactly. Bill Stevens. I don't know how I didn't correlate
ignorance of that. Always know you can reach out to me privately. I've had people say, "Yeah, I'm this on," and then I'm like, "Oh, okay. Now I know who you are." But my point is, I see out there so many stories, some false narratives, and this has been going on forever. But now the power of social media is at its absolute highest, and it's just a terrible place, because I'm just trying to analyze the truth. There's nothing personal in regards to making threats, cut this guy, get rid. Like, I make a lot of jokes. That's how I teach, through humor. I've always done that. And I'll always continue. I will never change. But I'm not lying when I tell you that is on par with the most pathetic performance you could ever see. So it makes it very difficult to give a real, truthful, analytical opinion on Justin Fields, because you're looking at having to scramble and find some other platform, find something and create. So now it's one of those things, like when you're with children, you set up how you're teaching, they become accustomed to it. If you teach a certain way, when you're screaming at people or whatever it is, you affect them. So my fear is that Justin's going to be so affected by the pressures that he's never going to find out who he truly is. And that's why I led the show a little bit with performance over politics, because we've been preaching that forever with the last administration, Shane. And now it seems to be seeping into this. I don't like to read through. I just want truth. You don't give away any advantages. It's the fucking NFL. They know they get your tapes. This isn't 1992. We got to exchange VHSs. They know what the fuck is going on in Chicago. That's why Washington did what they did. They attacked Mustafa, they attacked Patrick, and they attacked Braxton Jones. And that's why you lost the football game, on top of Velas's drop punt, which I'm going to blame on the coach again. As you see there, Shane, I was a punt returner at Hofstra. I've been a punt returner my whole life. I know what it takes. I know it's scary.
You're blaming it. You're blaming the coach for putting him out there.
Exactly. What did I
Right.
say at
Yeah.
halftime?
Under the circumstances, he's out there. He's got to catch the. It's that fucking simple.
Well, here's another coaching blame to
Oh,
that
I know-
point.
I know where
He's
you're-
got
I
to
think I know
put
where
his
you're going.
feet, his heels at the 10. So the punter is punting at the 38 because he's backed up. I think they were at the 40 something. So the punter's punting at his own 38. Your job is to stand at the 10. Guess why? Because if the ball's short kicked, you can run underneath it and throw your hand up and fair catch it. If the ball is kicked deep and you're at the 10 knowing that that's where you are on the field, it gives you an identifier. Now, if it's going over your head, you have to play the cards of let it go, the propensity of the speed of that football, and the height is going to take it into the end zone. That's the gamble you have. There's no fucking land of football that I've ever heard stand at the 20, roll back like Willie Mays, and try to fucking make this catch after you've seen that this kid is lacking in confidence. You lost the Giants game with this. The first half, you look shabby at best. He almost
did it in the Seattle preseason game also. You can't forget about that.
This is stuff that is so simple to correct if you're maniacal. If you're maniacal. I'm talking about the coach. I get it. He's got to make the catch. But you're out there. Get your ass back. Get to the 10. What are you doing? You're yelling to your guy. Stand on the fucking... I lose my mind with this shit because the Bears seem to be all over the place. Like, who cares?
But Phil,
Yeah,
even
man,
where
we practice.
he lost me even more is he came out after the game when he got questioned in the locker room by the media about it. He said, where I really screwed up is I should have just not attempted to catch the ball and let it roll. And I'm like, come on, Velus. That's just, I mean, you're making this.
He's 100% if he's standing at the 10. If you look, that ball lands. Where's Crazy Cujo? He probably knows. Or Cool Kennedy, no. It's going to fall at the 8 or 7.
Right.
On that speed, it's going to go in the end zone. And if it fucking goes out at the 3, you're still up. You can't. This isn't a confidence catcher. This is not. And that's why.
No, but he's been.
Patron,
Phil, he's been put on. If you go back
and
and
get out at punt returner, he cannot.
If you go out and watch our draft coverage, the fucking second that pick was made, Matt Waldman was on with us, and he said he's a gadget guy. You can use him in some places. You know, he's bigger than you think. Talking about that, and that's the thing. Velus Jones has been nothing but fucking hype. He bounced the big return in Seattle after he fumbled the ball. And everybody is intoxicated by that. And they've overrated it. We've had people calling out, oh, people don't know how to break down all 22. They don't know what they're talking about. But just wait till Velus gets a shot on this offense. That speed element, it's going to open everything up. And then you even have the fucking coaches. Velus got that look in his eye. I can see it in his eye. And I'm like, why are we at that fucking point? You're looking at people's eyes in practice to see if they're ready to play in your fucking offense. No, how about if you produce, then you're going to fucking play. He's done nothing to show that he should be the punt returner. And if they trot him back out there, to me, the most confident guy that they could put out there catching the ball and a punt return is Pettis.
Yeah,
and He's had his issues catching the
ball.
football, catching passes. But as a punt returner, I'd rather have a sure-handed guy out there that knows what to do, know when to let it go, than an explosive guy that has zero confidence. That's nothing but a hype machine.
He's not shown.
And his fucking smoking cigars, partying with Tennessee on the fucking weekend after you didn't just shit down your own leg for the second week in a row.
Not a good look going out and celebrating Tennessee beating Alabama if you just fumbled away a football game in the NFL. I agree 100% with everything you're saying. Punt returning is a mindset. It's Are you a confidence catcher? You know, you look at the best punt returners, Devin Hester, obviously, he's going to run up and make the catch. And Devin didn't have the greatest of hands. I'll tell you that. You look at some of the guys that have done it, they get underneath the punt. They understand the responsibility of it. Vi Sikahema back in the day, Wes Welker. What's the other kid from Kent State that went to the Patriots?
Edelman.
Julian Edelman. He's understand where you are in the football field. You have control with your fair catch, and you get to the football in those critical moments. Again, this is politics with the GM. I'm just telling you, when you look at what's going on the offensive line, the punt return situation, and all of it, it goes back to the GM for me. And we're going to talk a lot about that. But we got our guy in the green room. And Shane and I never know where it's going to go, because I didn't write any questions for this gentleman, and I have the utmost respect for this guy. But we have to bring out Cherie, our guest, the way we do here on TTNL. And I hope he enjoys this intro that we put together for him. Let's get out the coach, former defensive coordinator of your Chicago Bears. I remember tractor trailer running down the field. I remember Jacksonville. I remember Big
Ted. Had a zoom open on that lateral, but
I
don't blame him for keeping it.
You'll see some Easter eggs in his intro on some of the throwbacks of these great players. Let's introduce Mr. Greg Blache.
Bears fans, we've been having former players on the last few weeks, but now we shift to the coaching side of your favorite football team. The Bears DC from 1999 through 2003. In 2003, this guy's Bears defense finished the season 5th in the NFC in total defense. And 14th in the NFL, the team's highest league overall ranking since the 1998 season. During his tenure, his defense has forced 138 turnovers, including 37 in 2001. The most by a Bears defense since 1990. And accounted for 13 touchdowns. 2 in 1999, 4 in 2000, 5 in 2001, 1 in 2002, and 1 in 2003. Bears fans, TTNL fans, get up out your seats and give a proper TTNL Network welcome to Coach Greg Blache.
There he is.
Alan, how you doing tonight, sir?
How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well.
We're so excited to have you on the show tonight to talk a little bit about you and the Bears and football in itself.
Not a problem, but it's a pleasure being here.
I hope you liked your intro there.
I was quite impressive. I don't remember it being that good, but hey, I'll take it.
Well, you were that good, and I always remember, and I was so proud at that time to be a young coach myself, and to hear you talk about, and I think we'll start there. Listen, sacks are great, but they're not everything. Getting pressure on the guy is just as important as getting sacks. And I think you were the first coach I heard say that outside of my uncle, Sam Rutigliano. And, and he knows you too, and he speaks highly of you. So talk about that, Coach, for the young fans that listen. And I get these DMs. Where's Khalil Mack? Where's Robert Quinn now? They're not doing shit. And I'm like, you got to know the game of what's going on here. But you talk about it.
Well, actually, the game's changing. It's becoming basketball on grass, and people don't run the football like they did back in the day. Back in the day, people were putting emphasis on sacks, but if you couldn't stop the run, you couldn't win a championship. And everybody, was talking about sacks. There were a lot of teams that had a lot of sacks, couldn't win a Super Bowl because when they got to championship play, they couldn't stop the run. If you can't stop the run, particularly back then, you can't win. Nowadays, guys are throwing the ball around. But if you still see the teams that are able to win are the teams that can stop the run. And sometimes we get carried away with statistics. And when I was a young coach, coach told me statistics are for losers. Guys that are losing, they use them for crutches or whatever. He says, statistics lie. They do. You can play with them any way you want. You can play with numbers. But I think that being a team, a great defensive football team, you got to be able to stop the run and put pressure on the passer. You've got to be able to come up with plays in critical situations, but you've got to be consistent. You can't give up big plays chasing the quarterback all the time because that's where it really hurts you. If you can't stop the run, particularly back then, you were in huge trouble.
Absolutely.
You know how I feel about stats. Remember, the stats are for losers.
Exactly. Exactly. Tell him, Coach.
There you go, Coach.
Good company. Good company.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, when you go back to that 2001 season and you guys bring in Big Ted and Keith Traylor and make those two your pillars inside, we've had Olin Kreutz on here with us a couple of times, and he was talking about how instrumental it was for his growth as a player. Just in practice, you walk out on the practice field and you look across and you have Keith Traylor and Ted Washington sitting over there. He's like, it was just unbelievable how much he learned. But speak about that system. I mean, you had another Philip Daniels was another guy that was very, I think, underrated when you're talking about stopping the run. He wasn't the guy that was going to get you, double-digit sacks. But speak on your defensive line in 2001 and specifically about stopping the run with that group.
Well, the thing that was so great about that group, we had 4 big men up front, along with the late Brian Robinson and Phillip and those 2 guys. And it allowed us to be able to play cover 2 and have 2 deep safeties and not give up big runs. We were able to 2-gap and play cover 2. I actually had calls later from John Gruden asking me, how in the heck you play cover 2 and 2-gap? And I tell them, well, you get some big butts up front.
Yeah, you get some big boys. and you had those.
And that's where it starts. But the thing about it is, even today, they talk about double high safeties. When you can play 2 safeties deep, you eliminate the big plays. You force people to have to throw under. And even in 2001, we weren't ranked real high in the league as far as total yards were concerned. But we didn't give up big plays. In the earlier years, when we played a lot more cover, single high safety, cover 1, we played great, and all of a sudden you give up a big play. And we were always sitting around talking about not giving up the big play. And so as a staff, we sat and said, in order not to give up the big play, we can't get caught in man coverage all the time because there's always going to be a matchup, particularly in our division at the time, with the receivers they had at Minnesota, the receivers they had at Green Bay. I mean, there were some big-time receivers that you had to play in a division that you couldn't afford always to want to put guys in a one-on-one situation. Like Minnesota had 2. If you doubled 1, you had Chris Carter, on the other side that you had to worry about. So when we were able to get in and play a lot more cover 2, we were able to control the game and make you progress down the field. And then once you got in the red zone, the field got small. And then we could play man-to-man if we needed to. And we played what we called a red cover 2, where we had guys condensing the field and looking back at the quarterback. And quarterbacks back then, most of them weren't as good at looking you off as they are today. Nowadays, there's some guys that are just magicians with their eyes. I look at them and I'm just totally amazed how they'll look, and almost throw without looking. That's not fair. You know, back in the day, Joe Montana, we said, had fly eyes because he could see everything. But these guys can not only just see it, they can throw to it without looking at it. And I just think it's utterly amazing. Nowadays, a defense coordinator's job is a lot tougher because I don't care what you're playing, man or zone, the matchups that you're forced to have to get into and the ability of the quarterbacks and in the schemes, the RPOs and the different things that they do, run pass options, it's gone past what we used to play count in the box because they'll actually snap the football and not know, the quarterback will know if he's running or throwing, but even if you delayed showing what you had, they're able to complete a pass, when your safety cheats up into the box late, or they'll run the football if the safety doesn't show up in the box. So it's become a much more complex game, and I'm glad the young fellas have to, lose sleep over it because I don't lose sleep over anything anymore. I really don't. If I'm low on a cocktail or something, that might bother me, but I can always run to the store in the morning. But that's the biggest worries I have anymore.
Speaking of losing sleep, let me ask you this. You have these names on this defense. I was watching tape of 2001, 2002, all your defenses, and I look at that. You talk about safeties. That's what I want to ask you. Number 30, Mike Brown.
Yes.
You're a defensive coach. This kid comes in from Nebraska to a man. I speak to Olin a lot. Olin can't say enough great things about Mike Brown. We had Brian Urlacher come on here just speaking on Mike Brown. Can you talk to me and the audience when you knew and what you knew about Mike Brown when he came to the Chicago Bears?
Okay. I didn't know much about Mike Brown until Mark Hatley and I took a trip. We took a road trip, and we stopped. One of the stops was Nebraska. And I watched Mike work out, and he worked out okay. I mean, he didn't have burning speed. But then I watched some tape, and I was impressed with the tape. But I put him on the board, and I said, draw me your base defense. And to the man, and back in the day, if you asked the defensive back to draw their base defense, he started with defensive backs. And he could draw that. Some of them could draw linebackers. When I asked Mike Brown about the base defense, he started up front. He started with a nose tackle and defensive ends, and he understood the whole concept. He understood why their base defense worked, and he was so impressive on the board that I walked out of the meeting, and when Hat and I were driving, he had to stop and get his big slurp like he always did. And I told him, that's our guy. So this guy's the smartest college football player I'd ever been around. We had a DB back in Green Bay that played. I'll pull his name up in a second. But he impressed me when I was a rookie coach in Green Bay and how smart he was. Because I used to have to put up the protections, and he was asking me about what it took for a sight adjustment on that protection. And I was like, really? He wanted to know how many we had to bring where his receiver was going to run a slant or was going to run a fade. And that first impressed me. And then when Mike Brown was able to do that, he reminded me of the other DB. And I want to think his name was Brown. He's since passed away. But he was a great player at Pittsburgh and at Green Bay for years. Played till he was old. I should have researched that, but I didn't know if we'd get to him. But he was the smartest I'd gotten until Mike Brown. And then Mike Brown came in, and as a rookie at the mini camp, was lining veterans up. Studied, knew, he understood the concepts. He didn't just know his position, and tons of players only know their position. He understood the entire game. He understood the geometry of the game. Yes. The horizontal, the vertical, the angles, and I just knew the guy was going to be a great player. Even though he did not have great speed, he understood the angles. We were at Denver when they had Clinton Portis, and he busted a big run, and Mike Brown ran him down. And I used to always, Clinton was with us in Washington, I teach him. I said, you let slow-ass Mike Brown run you down. And he said, the boy had, he did. He said, the boy had new jets. I said, no, the boy knew geometry. He knew where he had to get to on the field and he took the proper angle from his first step, where he knew he could intercept you and force you to either cut back or he's going to tackle you. And it was plays like that that set him apart. People remember him for the interceptions, for scores 2 weeks in a row. But the thing that impressed me so much with him was smaller things than that. Understand angles, getting people lined up. One of the big things that hurt us in the playoff game that year against Philly, he got a concussion.
Yes.
And he was out of the game, and Mike Green had to come in, and they split a back out, and he didn't get. Ordinarily, he would have had work out there before the back was out there. But Greeny's worried about his own job. He's just come in the game. But with Mike Brown, he lined up 11 guys if he had to. He'd grab a tackle and move his butt out of the way, based on what he saw in the formation. He was a complete football player and a great guy and a great teammate and not afraid to be a leader. A lot of guys are afraid to be that young voice and be a leader. From day one, he was not afraid to be a leader.
Coach, if just play off of that, and this is one thing that we've worried about with this current era of the Chicago Bears, is it seems that there's a lack of accountability with coaches and players and players. And what I look back at Mike Brown, knowing, what I know now, I said he really seemed like an extension to me. I guess he said that he doesn't want to do it right now because he's got some young kids, maybe when they get a little bit older, talking about coaching, but he really just seemed like an extension of you guys out on the field and holding guys accountable. And like you said, him showing up to rookie minicamp and just from day one, speak about the importance of a player and how important accountability is for coaches to players and players to players when you're building a football team.
Accountability is everything. Football's the last bastion of real team sports.
Exactly.
Basketball, you can get you a Steph Curry or somebody or LeBron and win a championship. Football, you need it all. You need a complete unit. And nowadays, you got to have a quarterback, but at the same time, a complete unit and accountability. When guys trust each other and they are accountable to each other, I think it's very, very important. And that was a unique thing about particularly that group in 2001. I didn't lose sleep that year. That's 1 year coaching. I never lost sleep because I knew one thing. When we hit the stadium on Sunday, I had 11 warriors that were going to be toe-to-toe, butt-to-butt, fighting off from the beginning to end. I couldn't promise you what the final score was going to be, but I was going to promise you one thing. You're going to fight your butt off to beat them. And that was, to me, awesome. And then later years, I had some defenses that I did lose some sleep over because it wasn't the same. That group was unique. I mean, it really was unique. Athleticism, but more importantly, the competitiveness and the closeness. Those guys got along. I always say, coach has to love all his players. Doesn't have to like them, but he's got to love them.
Yes.
Teammates have to love each other and not necessarily like each other. We don't have to play Xbox together. We don't have to hang out in the club together. But when we put that uniform on, we're all accountable to each other, and we owe it to each other to give them the very best. And that starts with your preparation on Monday and Tuesday to give them your very best. And back then, I had guys on that team that came to work, and they did their work. And even the big guys up front, they didn't have the same mental challenge, that the guys in coverage and all did, but they prepared physically and they prepared mentally, but they were prepared to come and fight on Sunday. And that was a unique situation for me. That, like I say, that year and all my years at Chicago, but that particular group was even more special.
When you talk about that, I think it's very important that fans understand you didn't lose sleep because you knew you had a bunch of warriors that loved each other. But, Coach, can we say you knew they loved the game of football?
Oh, without question. Without question. They love playing football. This group would have played football out back in a parking lot at midnight with nobody watching if somebody challenged them.
Exactly.
I just tell you, that group would go.
Coach, you give me goosebumps with that because it shows up, Coach. And
without question.
My father has taught me it, Sam, is you have to find players that love the game of football first. If they love the game, they're going to be willing to learn and do anything in their power to win. When you don't have that, it's a very difficult seesaw balancing act in the NFL because now you're getting paid. Now you're getting attention. So how do you balance that, Coach?
Well, for me, it's when you draft guys.
Mm-hmm.
When you go out and work guys out and you interview them, you try and find what's their hot button. A lot of guys love the NFL lifestyle. They don't like the NFL game. They don't like putting in the hours. They don't like putting in the preparation. They like the lifestyle. They like the notoriety, but they don't like the grind and putting in the necessarily work. And that's why early on I had a problem with a lot of rookies because rookies were still college kids coming to the NFL and they got a new watch and they got a new car because they had signed the contract. Where the older guys knew in order to keep that job and in order to get a new contract, they had to produce. And the leadership that you have in a locker room and the chemistry you have in a locker room and the great teams all have this chemistry. They have a leadership and a culture in the locker room that allows the young guys to come in and learn from the older guys. And the one thing that happens in free agency, the one thing that hurts a lot of teams is they'll bring pieces into their locker room that don't fit. And that's a mistake a lot of people continue to make. They get impressed by things that are shiny and dazzling, and they look at what they did last year or 2 years ago. They don't look and see if it fits what we do or what we want to do. And it hurts your locker room. I saw it when we were in Indianapolis. We plugged a piece in 1 year that didn't fit, and we went from a great defense to very average look at me kind of stuff. And once the one guy started look at me, other guys started dancing and saying, look at me. It was no longer go pat your buddy on the back. You know, it was like, just look at me. And when a guy's a look at me guy, he should be a look at me guy when he screws up too, but they're not. You know, when they screw up, they look around, they're pointing fingers like, what went wrong? But they dance when they do something right.
Coach, I look back at
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm old school. You have to understand.
We love it.
Yeah.
When I left coaching, I knew I was a dinosaur. Okay?
No.
My time, no, stay with me. My time in football had come. The players were changing. Technology was changing. You know, first we had talk radio was new to me when I first, got in. But then they got Twitter and different things, and players were going on Twitter and doing things, and I'm going, wait a minute. You know, this, in my opinion, has no place in the locker room. What we talk about and what we do in the locker room stays in the locker room. You don't go on Twitter and say your mama's out with your uncle, or your dad's, your dad's brother.
I'd cause some problems.
You keep certain things in the house.
Private,
Yeah. But
totally agree.
It was, like guys taking pictures in the locker room and putting it online. I saw that happening, and I knew it wasn't for me. When I first started coaching, and even in the league, guys didn't make a lot of money. We had Plan B at first. Reggie White was the first big free agent that I'd ever been associated with, and he was phenomenal because he was a great player. But when he came in, I remember him sitting down and said, "Coach, you tell me what you want me to do." And he said, "I'm going to do it." And he said, "If you have any issues," he said, "don't be afraid to pull me aside and tell me something." And he says, "You know what? If you get upset and do it in front of other people, I'm not going to pout like a little, scary kid." He says, "I'm a man." He said, "I can take it." He said, "I understand. I want to be the best that I can be. And I know you're going to try and help me be the best that I can be." And a lot of the old school guys were like that. A lot of guys nowadays, they don't want you to hurt their feelings. They're sensitive. They have the images to worry about as far as the commercials and, things like that, that it's just a little different. Go ahead. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, Coach. No, absolutely. I've always wanted to ask somebody that was there. I go back to 2003, and maybe you have no idea, but I want to ask you anyway. In that draft, the Bears had the 4th overall pick. You guys ended up trading down with the Jets, I believe, and you had 2 first-round picks. You ended up taking Michael Haynes and Rex Grossman as your 2 first rounders that year. That was the whole thing when everything was on. Minnesota was on the clock and they didn't make their pick and everybody was scrambling. I was told the entire time that Chicago's guy that they were targeting was Kevin Williams. And then Minnesota ended up dropping down. They ended up making the selection right before Chicago. You guys kind of had to scramble and pivot to Michael Haynes. Do you know anything about that? Or
that I can't attest to, but I do know Michael Haynes was a guy that Jerry Angelo was enamored with.
Okay.
Jerry liked Michael Haynes. Okay. And quite honestly, that was one of the guys that I had some issues with when he was coming in, when he's talking about he has to reinvent himself and things like that.
The zookeeper. He loved his animals.
I'm sorry?
He was the zookeeper. He always loved talking about his snakes and reptiles and all that stuff.
Listen, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, because great guy, lived in my neighborhood, was great. You see him doing great things in his community and great thing with the kids. Just never hit my hot button. There's certain guys you see play and you see them brawl, and I don't always want to see guys at their best moments. I want to see how you handle your worst moment.
Yep.
Because we're going to go down that valley together. There's going to be a point in every game somebody's going to hit you in the mouth a little bit harder than you expect, and it's how do you handle that? And just my own personal opinion. I had guys that I personally preferred more.
Yes.
Okay?
Kevin Williams, right?
But you have to understand, I was allowed to give my opinion, and that was my job. Give you my opinion and then shut up.
Yep.
Some guys give their opinion and they pout when it doesn't go their way. We don't get paid to make that decision. That's above our pay level. Give your opinion and then shut up. And let them do what they want to do. Don't be a problem.
Was that universally like that in the NFL, or was that just Jerry Angelo's?
No. Some places I was at, we weren't ever allowed in the draft room, even as coordinators.
Wow.
There was all the staff there. Once in the blue moon, they come in at certain places and give you a roll of tape and say, look at this guy for us, and then write him up, give us an opinion. That was usually real close to the draft. And that was usually when scouts in the room had a difference of opinion. But in Chicago, we had all my assistant coaches, I'm going to tell you what, had jobs to look at tape. Vance found Mike Green. He found Peanut. He would scour it. Dale Lindsey, found people. Those guys would go and they had assignments. Look at the first 3 rounds that everybody's going to look at, but then find the 4th round picks. Find a good player in the 5th round. Warwick Holman, Losey.
Holman.
Well, Mike Green was Mr. Irrelevant when they took him. He's the last pick of the draft.
Our 2 start linebackers were both 4th round picks.
Roosevelt Colvin.
But Colvin and Warwick. But Dale, those guys worked. I'm going to tell you, they looked at stuff. And the neat thing about them was they were strong enough men to come in and give you their opinion and professional enough to show you why they thought it was the proper thing to do. And it worked for us. I mean, that's the other thing. I talk about all those players, but the staff I had at that time was unbelievable. We got along. We could go in a room and talk about things and disagree. But when we made a decision, everybody walked out that room and we all were on the same page. We didn't have guys whispering in the hallway or on the phone calling their friends saying, after the game, well, I didn't want to do that. So-and-so wanted to do that. But this was a great group of coaches also. But a lot of places you had no input. But at Chicago, we had a say-so, but you say it, and then you walk away. Like in Washington, I had a say-so, but you say it and you walk away. A lot of times in Washington, I was overruled. But you just learn that, that's not your job. The general manager, the president, and the ownership makes those final decisions because they pay the bills.
Yeah.
Well, we've always said Ted Phillips has had an invasion on some of these football decisions. And it's
He's laughing. It's almost like he knows what we're talking about. Almost like he was there.
No.
I'm not getting you in trouble. Actually, you don't have to worry anymore. You're free from
don't
this.
worry. No. Listen, I never in my years saw Ted have a final decision in front of us. Anyway, if anything like that ever transpired, it was at a different meeting at a different time. Okay, even when Hat was there and when Jerry was there, that I worked with, I always felt that they had the final say so, and if they didn't, something happened in a separate meeting.
Yeah, because
I mean, that's all, and I'm being honest on that.
This show, listen, there's two things. This is why you fit here so well, and I thank our producer Alan Bratcher for getting you on this show with us. It's called Keeping It 100, but it's also the Tape Never Lies Network. It ain't the stats never lie. This is about the tape, and you're talking about the tape, and I think it's a black eye on organizations and the NFL if they're not including the coaches that are coaching the philosophies to find these players that are going to fit and also going to love the game of football. I've always said Ryan Pace and these decisions that I don't know how you sit in a room, and I guess they didn't sit in a room with Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, and Mitch Trubisky and find out which guy loves the game of football, who's going to be able to do. For me, it would be simple. But it infuriates me to no end that the Chicago Bears continuously go down this avenue of almost, we didn't. And here you are listing off names. Mike Green, Mr. Peanut Tillman, Warwick Holman, Rosie Colvin. These are pillar pieces to a defense that was a team that loved the game of football. There was coaches helping determine that. I don't think you can have enough opinions until one opinion matters. And I think your show, your opinion matters to me. When Sam Ritigliano says Greg Blache, that's a good football coach. He starts with fundamentals. He preaches fundamentals. You expect fundamentals to be done, and then you go forward from there, and he'll find out who could play and who can't. I was so excited to have you on that show when that's what we're talking about with you. I think your defenses spoke a lot about it. Brian Urlacher said, credits you for helping him. And, you guys had him at Sam linebacker at first. Then Barry Minner gets hurt. Now, were you involved in this whole Brian Urlacher situation?
Certainly. No. I'll go all the way back on Brian.
Yes.
And when we were at the combine, Brian was not working out. His agent was a basketball agent, and he was the only football player he had. And he had told Brian not to work out. And talking to Brian in the room, I was saying, well, if you're fast, or you're faster in New Mexico than you're in Indianapolis? And he went, no, I'm fast all the time. I said, well, when you compete, do you try and compete against the least amount of people or the least amount of talent or the best talent? He said, the best always. I said, well, the best talent is going to be out there on that track tomorrow, and they can all post their time. And you can have opportunity to either compete and show everybody who you are and what you are and post your time, or you could go back to New Mexico and do it for 11 in front of maybe 11, 12 scouts. And that night, when we left, he was not running. And when he ran the next day, I was floored, okay? But right then, his stock went up because he was challenged, and he answered the challenge. He didn't back down from the challenge. He answered the challenge. And so then, the speed was impressive. Everything was impressive before. But he was a projection because Brian played safety in college. And that's why we started him at Sam. Because if you took a guy that played safety and put him at middle linebacker to start off with, where things come from every direction, there's a very good chance you're going to tear up the knees of a very young, good player. Put him at Sam, everything comes from one direction. It comes from the inside out. And we started him off at Sam, and to be quite honest, he didn't fit in at Sam at the time as well. Rosie Colvin, was a better Sam than he
Yeah.
was at that time. But Rosie had played Sam in college. He had experience. But when Barry got hurt, we had already started playing Brian at middle linebacker and nickel, if you remember.
Yes.
Situations. He was our Mike Backer. And Dale Lindsay and I and Dick Duran, we all talked about it. We were going to ease him in to being a Mike Backer. But when Barry got hurt, it made us have to do it faster than we wanted to. I mean, we had to make a decision. And he was the best. And we just had to cross our fingers and hope, we could get it done. And at the time, we had, I think, Wellesley and
Mike
Flanagan.
Yep.
Wells and Flanagan, two good tackles. Wellesley was a big body. Flanagan was a bigger body. And so it was a little bit different. We had to do things a little differently because you didn't have, that's why the next year we had those two big butts in front, made things a lot. It makes the world easier because they wasn't getting up to it. Things were not going to get up to his level. And that's when he, just really took off and flourished. But even in later years, when we had Brian, we put Brian on the line of scrimmage and blitz him from a Sam type position where a back has to block him with speed off the edge. And it got to a point where people started sliding the line and making the tackles have to block him. And he was still going to be faster and more flexible than the tackles. But Brian was a great addition and a great football player and a great person. He loved playing football.
Yes.
He came to practice every day with a big grin on his face. He loved playing football. And he was, that whole group, but he was fun to watch. It'd be cold and windy. He caught that big grin on his face. And my fingers would already be crumbling. What the hell are you smiling about? He said, come on, we had fun today.
So would you say that challenge that you gave him completely allowed Hatley to take him?
Without question. Hat liked him to start with. It wasn't like we didn't like him. But you were projecting. You were projecting a kid that was a safety to become a Hall of Fame linebacker.
Yeah.
So he was a real projection. But he was a big guy that could run fast, and he made tackles. He could make open field tackles. But just the fact that he answered the challenge and he did it so well, you felt comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Taking him at that spot. We felt really comfortable taking him at that spot.
Yeah, when we had Brian on, he said he was under the impression that if Plexico Burris was on the board, that was going to be the Bears guy, and Pittsburgh ended up taking him one or two picks right before Chicago. But I don't know if that's.
You know what? That was rumors around. He also went to Michigan State.
Yep.
And worked out Plexico Burris. Okay.
Yep.
And predicated on that trip, I'm not 100% certain that would have ever been the case.
Yep.
I'm going to go back to the character, the love of football, the presentation. Kind of remember Plexico coming into the workout with earphones on and kind of an entourage, kind of whatever, and you kind of go, you try and be like a proctologist and check every part of them. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. You start at the top and you work your way all the way down.
All the way to the bottom.
All the way to the bottom. And once you check it all out, and honestly, the teams that do that are the ones that have year in and year out successful drafts. Some guys get enamored. Pace was with the quarterback in New Orleans for so many years, so he was looking for that guy.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was looking for a guy like that. And the thing that always concerned me with Trubisky, he was a one-year starter.
Exactly.
I don't know what made him think he was going to be anything like the quarterback they had in New Orleans, being a one-year starter. But you get enamored. Even as myself, I remember back in the day, I had a great player at Green Bay named Tony Bennett. And Tony Bennett was an undersized defensive end, but he could run and fight. Just
went to the Colts,
football player,
right?
Sorry, I brought him to when I went to the Colts,
and he blew up with the Colts.
Yep. Yes. But anyway, Tony Bennett was my role in my mind. When I went out to find a defensive end, I wanted to find a Tony Bennett. And Andre Carter that we had at Washington, that San Francisco took right before us at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Andre Ware at Dallas. That Dallas took. Those guys were like clones of Tony Bennett on college film. And you look for guys that play the run, play the pass, play physical, You know, those were certain things. And then when you meet him, you wanted a guy that can be personable, a guy that you could bring in and meet the president of the organization, and he's at home talking to. You can introduce him to the janitor in the hallway, and he's personable and respectful too. And guys that have that quality, you can if they got the fire and they have any ability, they're gonna have a chance to be there and compete. The problem is we get so caught up in talent that we don't realize. I spent a lot of years giving clinics and doing things, going to Angola prison in Louisiana. Okay, you want to see talent? Go watch a basketball game in a penitentiary basketball court. Or guys playing touch football. Our penitentiaries are full of talent. I'm gonna tell you, they're loaded with talent. Talent doesn't do anything if you can't apply it. So you got to go past the talent and look at the man. What kind of man am I getting? How could he relate to good times, bad times, teammates, media, notoriety? You know, like go back to Mike Brown, Brian. Those guys didn't change, you know, over the years. They didn't become buttheads once they became famous. Those guys were still good teammates. Those guys were still good people. And that's the real test. The NFL is going to test your character. It's going to test your manhood. It's definitely going to test it. Go ahead.
You know what? I think the NFL and the Bears need you, Coach. They need that.
No.
They need that
Let me
old
explain
school
something.
thinking. I'm just saying, you don't have to go out there and coach, but they need to use that kind of determination in determining who's going to be a part of your future. I guess I'm just brought up in the same way where you are.
We got to get you that hoodie that says proctologist on the back and send you around to these teams. Clean some of this shit up, Coach.
Well, Coach, I mean, you're speaking the truth, man. That's
well, but you got to understand the games. Everybody now is into what do they call it? All the statistics.
What do you call it, Shane?
Analytics.
Analytics. Listen, I have a very, very dear friend, actually who played for me back years ago, who was a general manager in the league. And I've talked to him from time to time. And he was just saying that the analytics was going to ruin football even more and faster than anything else, because all these teams started going to analytics in their scouting departments. They're going to analytics on the field, you know, and it's what they're on the field, play the percentages. The percentages in the draft is a solid individual, not a running game. Back in the day when Al Davis and the Raiders were the bad guys, Al always athlete, height, weight, speed, you know, and he'd take the worst of the worst and they fit him in. But they had a culture that allowed that.
They had a penitentiary.
And that's who they were, though. They were the bad guys. And they loved being the bad guys. And they allowed them being, you know, they didn't care how the image was, but you didn't have all the scrutiny that you have today as far as the national media and stuff and the players and the habits off the field. But back in the day, they could, you know, they did it. They were successful with it. And a lot of people follow that script. But being around the people I was blessed to be around, I just learned, you know, there's things more important. When I was with Eric Parsegian at Notre Dame as a young coach, I might have still been a GA. And we had a guy come in, I'm not going to say his name, but he was a player from Pennsylvania that was highly touted. And the coach recruiting was thrilled that we had him in. He was going to come to our place, and he had his meeting with Eric, and he came out, and coach says, well, what did he say? And he says, he told me he'd get back to me. And the coach was floored. So we had a staff meeting. Coach said, why didn't you offer him? He said, I didn't like him. And the coach said, he's a great player. Eric said, I don't care. I don't want him in my locker room. He said, because he said, well, he'll go to Ohio State or Michigan State. He said, that's fine. If he goes there, he could beat us once a year. We put him in our locker room, he could beat us every day.
Wow.
And I mean, honestly, I remember that.
Powerful.
And that was, to me, that was huge powerful, because the guy was a huge name in college football and went up to have a good college career. He didn't, you know, bomb out. But for some reason, he didn't touch air right, and that made an impression on me, though. As a very young coach, it was like, okay, you can beat me once a year, but you're not going to beat me every day. So when I go out and meet guys and talk to guys and interact with guys, I want to just get a feel for who they are every day. Good day, bad day, sunny day, somebody might have peed in your coffee day, I don't know.
If you're just tuning in now, we have Coach Greg Blache with us. Coach Blache is Chris Zorich told me to say hello to you too,
Good
Coach.
Man.
Great
Good man.
man.
Chris is old Norman.
He told me to say hello to you last night. I go, do you have a message for Coach? He's like, just tell him I said hello.
Thank you. Good man.
Yeah. Coach, speaking of sunny and cloudy days, someone who blocked out the sun that doesn't get a lot of talk is Ted Washington. And what he was able to do at his size, his age, I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. I think this is a Hall of Fame football player that isn't even talked about.
Right. No.
And talk about him.
Okay. You have to understand, as good as Ted was at doing what he did, he was never glamorous. Ted did the dirty work. Okay. Ted didn't have 8 sacks, or whatever. But Ted I bet Ted's got 5 or 6 Hall of Famers behind him.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you go back and check, he had 5 or 6 Hall of Famers that he made because he did all the dirty work. He took the double teams, and he played the 2 gap, and he played the run, and he pressured the pocket, and he did all the things you ask him to do. And so, I don't know if those kind of guys ever get the real recognition that they generally do. But that's why so many guys early on were all into these sacks. There were some guys that would have a ton of sacks back when I was coaching.
Yeah.
And guys just were, what about so and so? I said, I wouldn't want to run my team for no reason at all, because he played the run like a matador, Ole, because everything he did was going to go get himself a sack. And he didn't care if he gave up a 40-yard run or 50-yard run. He didn't care where he fit the defense. He just cared about getting a sack. And so there were a lot of guys like that are, I won't say in the Hall of Fame, but there are a lot of guys that have notoriety that didn't do the dirty work and were unwilling to do the dirty work.
Leonard Floyd comes to mind. Another Ryan Pace pick.
Coach, this is a completely different player, definitely not blocking out the sun, but one of my personal under the radar favorites that you ended up coaching, but he moved. I mean, he was a running back at New Hampshire, and then he's a cornerback in the NFL. And I mean, he had you can say he literally had a bad day in San Francisco, with T.O. going crazy in that whole situation. I don't think Cade McNown got over the 50-yard line that day, but speak on Jerry Azuma, what you guys saw in him and the ability. I'm still to this day blown away that this is a running back from New Hampshire, and then boom, here he is starting in the NFL. He's an elite return man, but starting at cornerback.
I'd like to take credit for Zoom, but that was all Mark Hatley.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about Zoom till Hat called me one day and says he was thinking of, drafting Jerry, and told us to take a look at him and see if we could project him, playing over. And Jerry played hard. Jerry ran hard. Jerry was physical. And it was like, this guy can run. He's tough. I said, I could see him fitting in. I can't promise it's going to happen day one.
Right.
But I said, if he played defense in high school or whatever, I said, he'd fit in. But Zoom was a huge, huge addition. And I can remember when we play Minnesota, and we put him on Randy Moss when Randy was in the slot, and Zoom would just talk to him, and Zoom would say, hey, we're together all day. And he hated Jerry. He hated Jerry. Zoom would crowd him, and it just gave him hell all day. But Zoom could run, he'd compete. And even at San Francisco, that wasn't Zoom's fault.
Right, yeah.
The thing that happened when Jerry Rice was retiring, that was Jerry's last game. We went out with a game plan. Jerry was not going to beat us.
Yep.
We were going to make them beat us with somebody else. And what they did with T.O. that day, they moved him about 6 different positions. They dinked and they dunked. And actually, at the end of the game, when they said he had 20 catches, I was surprised because they had 17 points. It wasn't like he was running up and down the field. They were trying to make a statement within the organization that they were going somewhere else. And that's, in my mind, it was one of those days you say, that's fine. If that's the way you can beat me, beat me. But you're not beating me with the guy.
Yeah.
That's the Hall of Famer. We knew was a Hall of Famer. And so that wasn't Zoo's fault. If anything, that was on me. And the fact that we were always in a game, it was kind of like you never felt pressure to say, okay, we got to stop this guy because he's going to kill us. Because it was not that kind of, I think it was a 17-0 game that day. But
how much pressure was on you as a defensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears, fully knowing that your offense was always struggling? They're always struggling, and you guys are going to have to play your best to do it. And
actually, we loved it, and we used it. We go and say, hey, put it on our backs. And we talk about it. Hey, you know what? We might have to win this game 12-10. But that's the way we like it, And we say, hey, we were the big brother. We talk about it. We're the big brother. If you go into a place and somebody's messing with your little brother, what you gonna do? And we knew we were the big brother. We liked being the big brother. We didn't want to necessarily take a second seat. But we knew, particularly when Shoop took over, we had the train. We had A-Train.
A-Train.
I'm gonna tell you what, we knew we could beat up on some people. I remember when we were playing Tampa Bay and got ahead and Dick and I were talking on the phone, and I said, Dick, just tell them, pound them. And Soupy pounded them. And there were people running off and on the field, holding their shoulders, grabbing their knees. So they had the loser's limp. I'm not saying no names. There were guys leaving the field. And it was like, that's, and honestly, no, we enjoyed that. Now, you'd always love to be better. You know what I'm saying? On other side, you always would. But like Jim Miller, to me, was a warrior. I have done things with Jim since he's played. We've gone hunting together and did things. I admired him. And I'd take Jim Miller to be a quarterback for me with any team I had. He wasn't the most tough, but he was tough. Shane Matthews,
Yes.
A couple of other names you talk about, I was never enamored with, okay? The other 2 first-round picks we took, both boggled my mind, okay? Both the quarterbacks boggled my mind. The one guy, I don't know how they sold Opie to the group, but they did.
Cade.
Boggled my mind. But at the same time, we did what we had to do. That wasn't, we had our opinion on who we wanted. Finally, they had to make a different opinion, and they did what they had to do. And honestly, we were good with it. But yes, we struggled at times, but at the same time, our offense was tough too. Big Cat and Olin and those guys, they didn't back off of nobody. Valerio, and you know what? We admired them. We loved competing against them in practice, and we loved the way they, fought on the field. We liked to have had a little more talent behind Jim and Shane at quarterback, a little more talent. But like I said, A-Train was a tough guy, and we had some people, offense, Marcus and some of the receivers that we had tremendous respect for and loved playing with. So, no, it wasn't an issue. When you're on a team, that's your team. Like in our family, I have brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
They got an ugly brother, but they still love me. So on a football team, sometimes you have somebody that's on the other side. It may not be as pretty as you, but they're yours, and you love them, and you guys are gonna line up and fight together. When you don't worry about that, when you don't keep score about what I did and you didn't do, but we all put it on the line. You put everything you have on the line. That's all I can ask you, as a man or as a football player. Just put it all on the line.
You got it. Oh, I
It
thought
was
you were
your turn.
No. All good. Coach, after that 2001 season, I believe literally after the playoff game, they started the, tearing down the Soldier Field, and then you guys are playing at the University of Illinois. And I still to this day, I'm not sure. I think you guys had something like 23 players on IR at some point.
Next year. Yeah, but more than that, we didn't just, the tearing down of the stadium was the big issue. It was tearing down of our defense.
Yeah.
Getting rid of
Yep.
Ted, getting rid of Keith. That hurt us more than playing in Champaign, okay,
Yep.
and having injuries. We had a unit. And in my opinion, humble opinion, when you have a unit like that, you find a way to afford it. You cut
Yep.
something here, you cut something there. You don't just chop it out in the middle. It's just my own opinion. I wasn't in charge of finances. That was above my pay level. But just as a coach, it was like, don't cut the heart out of our
Yeah.
unit. And just look at the flash. And well, he's here and he's here. But who helped make them the way they were? You know, and all of a sudden contracts became an issue, you know, and it was like, really? You know, it wasn't like these guys were making millions of dollars.
You're right.
You know, these guys are making a decent salary, but no, that hurt us as much as moving and the injuries the next year.
That was the politics coming in above.
Well, I don't know if it was politics.
In the business office.
I'm sorry.
In the business office up there,
Yeah,
they were making these
Could have
decisions.
been, yeah. But like I said, I never was real good at money. But I knew football players, and if you got a good one, I always felt you find a way to keep them.
Exactly.
If you got some good ones, you find a way to keep them. You don't let them, you don't take them, and even the young ones, like you take your draft, you grow your own. It's always been my philosophy. Grow your own, pick what you want and get the right people, grow your own, and then once they get to a point, pay them. Don't duck out and start the process all over again. If you took a guy and you nurtured him for 3 or 4 years and you got him through that first contract and he's producing, pay him. And whatever the market declares it is, then you go ahead and pay him. And I don't know if we always did that back then.
We didn't.
No,
that was a problem.
Yeah.
Talk about the transition from Hatley to Jerry Angelo. Was that something that came with the full Monty of change that was going to happen, that you all felt that?
Well, yeah, Hat and I were close.
Yeah.
It
real seems
close.
so.
No, we travel, work guys out together.
Can still see him with those Diet Dr. Peppers.
Yeah. Oh, he had the Slurpees. Let me tell you what. This dude, I don't care, 3 times a day if we were driving from Kansas to somewhere else, he had this great big cup in his hand. 90% of the time he was driving, and he's looking at me talking, sipping. I say, Hat, look at the road. I just thought was an exceptional old school football guy. He went out and he wanted to see him, talk to him, and work him out and be there himself. Hat and I were very close. When Jerry came in, I didn't really know Jerry. But Jerry and I got along fine. I mean, we really did. But when Jerry first came in, he told the team that he would probably have to fire Dick, you know, if we didn't have a good season. And it didn't sit well with a lot of players.
That's how you introduce yourself.
Yeah. And I think he was being honest, but sometimes honesty is not necessarily the best thing. Sometimes you just shut up and do it. You know, you don't do what you got to do. So I don't know if that was, we didn't start off on the same level I was with Hat, but by the time we left, Jerry and I were also very close. Jerry was very helpful to me in a lot of different ways. And he and I worked well together. He helped mentor me in a couple of areas when I was doing interviews and stuff. Jerry and I ended up, I can speak for myself. I had a lot of respect for him. I can't say how much respect he had for me, but I had a lot of respect for him.
Coach, Roquan Smith, as you watch this young football player, talented linebacker, he holds out, wants millions and millions of dollars, wants to prove who he is. When you watch him, in all honesty, what do you see in him? Is he somebody that you believe in going forward, or is it? I don't want to put you in a predicament here, but
no, you're not. Okay, first of all, I'll be totally honest.
Yeah,
I don't watch that much professional football. I don't watch a lot of the Bears because if the Packers are playing on up here, they're on TV. If they're not, it's usually the Vikings. But usually on Sunday, I'm out in the woods hunting, and unless you play at night, I'm not going to see you play. I don't have NFL ticket because I don't like to watch work. I like watching college football a lot.
Yeah.
I'll watch teams. If somebody, one of my old assistants on the team, one of my young guys that I work with, I'll watch them because I know how bad it is if you lose. Nothing tastes good. You know, your dinner tastes like crap. Even your cocktail, you need it, but it doesn't taste as good as when you win. So I'll watch some football, but I don't have any close friends on the Bears anymore. I had Bill Lazor last year, and I'd watch, you know, when Bill was there, but I really don't get to see the Bears play that much. They're usually, like I said, they play at noon. I saw them against the Packers. But they usually play at noon. And like I said, sometimes I'm downstairs working out, sometimes I'm out in the woods, but I don't see enough of him. But I would just say this. If he produces and he's a good guy in the locker room, pay him whatever it takes to keep him. If the guy produces and he's a good guy in the locker room, I think those are the two big factors. But to get in the details on it, I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
Just spout off, you know, and it's one of those things where sometimes I don't have the information to make an intelligent, you know, comment.
No, I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
That's why I asked you.
Coach, I want to rewind a bit, and you alluded to it a little bit, but when we had Olin on, we were talking about, you know, when he was drafted in 98, but we were talking about the Bears and the offense and quarterbacks and stuff like that. And he was talking about the first round pick in 99 when they brought in Cade, and like Shane Matthews, we had him on. Shane Matthews is like, I saw Cade come out to practice, and he goes, the first words out of my mouth is like, this motherfucker can't even throw. And he was our first round pick. But what did you see on the other side of the ball when you see? I mean, I'm not there, but heard that there was a lot of, you know, nobody loved Cade more than Cade did. That there was some arrogance issues there. But
Gary Croton loved Cade.
Yep.
And he sold the organization on Cade.
Wow.
Okay. Shane's vision and mine had to be pretty much the same because when I first saw him, I was just amazed at this little guy that just didn't do anything for me. And I think that same year, Minnesota drafted a quarterback.
Culpepper.
Oh,
Dante
yeah,
Culpepper.
that's the big
Dante
guy.
Culpepper.
Yeah, and about a pick or two after us, as I remember.
Yeah, you guys traded down. I think you were drafting 7th. That was the Ricky Williams. That was a Ricky Williams year, and New Orleans traded up. And then you guys actually traded down with Washington. Washington came up, took Champ Bailey.
Yeah.
You guys
and
drafted that.
And didn't the Tennessee Titans get a good player right after us?
Javon Curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I was lobbying for the free. And so when I saw Cade and not the free,
oh my God,
I was like, hey, like I say, your team though. You say, okay, we're gonna make this work.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't have been my first choice, but we're gonna make this work the best we can. But yeah, Gary sold everybody in the building, you know, on this guy and got him to love him. What he was enamored with about it, I don't know. But no, that one always puzzled me.
It's strange that, you know, Dick Duran can't push back. And
well, Dick could, but Dick listened. Dick would listen, and if you could sell him, and you know what I'm saying, on things. And Dick was always a guy that didn't micromanage. He was going to give you an opportunity to get what you thought you needed to be successful. You know, Hat was that way. Hat was that way because I remember when Walt Harris's contract came up before the 2001 season, and I went to Hat and we were talking, and Hat said, "Well, what about Walt?" I said, "Well, tell you what. If you sign Walt, we can win a division." And he used to always call me son. He goes, "Son, you been drinking?" I said, "No." I said, "Pat, I'll tell you what." So he got the other pieces. If you sign Walt, we'll have really have an excellent chance to win this division. And those guys would try and give you what you felt you needed. but you couldn't sell him. It wasn't right to sell him a bill of goods. But you went to him. You needed to have done your homework, and that's my opinion. And I don't know. I don't blame Dick for that. I know Gary in every meeting. I was in a meeting where he lobbied and lobbied that he could do this, and he's the next coming, and this, that, and other. I didn't look at his film, so I didn't have an opinion or comment. But I do remember the first time I saw him thinking, "Holy cow, this is who we passed up Divine Curse and the big quarterback at Minnesota for." It blew my mind. It did.
Jeez.
But hey, it's history. I mean, that's just history, and I mean, it is what it is, and was what it was. But you know,
for a while, there's so much I want to get into with you, but I don't want to keep you.
Well, you already missed cocktail hour. Okay? I couldn't drink it. Come on.
Yeah. You can have a drink on the show.
COVID, Peggy called one day when I was sitting. I finished my work and I was having a couple margaritas, and Peggy called and asked if I'd go on, and I went right on right then. Then after, I thought that wasn't real smart. So I told my neighbors, we usually do 4:00 cocktails. I said, I can't play Wednesday. I have to do a thing at 7:30. But go ahead. So don't worry about my time.
Well, I look at Charles Peanut Tillman, and here's a guy that I've lobbied for that should be in the Hall of Fame, that his ability to create turnovers and just his ability to be what we talked about. He loved the game of football. It shows up on the tape, and he truly was an identity of your defense. He became the identity, became a household name with the peanut punch. There was a rumor that you were helping him to build that confidence to do that punch.
No, I can't take no. I can't take credit for the punch. What I did work with Peanut on, we were at Seattle, and they called him for pass interference, and a terrible pass interference call. And it ended up being consequential in the game. And at the time, I just said, Peanut, don't worry about it. What I need for you to do is just keep competing like you're competing. So you can't control those guys. So you can control you. Don't let them intimidate you. Don't let them slow you down for being aggressive. But as far as the peanut punch, no, I'd love to, put that on my resume, but that's not. I could run if I was running for office, I'd use that as my thing. I taught Peanut the peanut punch. Vote for me.
Yeah, I love it. Coach, your time in Chicago, was there one guy that you really thought was, just maybe if he didn't get the chance or he couldn't stay, he kept on getting injured, that you would have loved to have seen just stay clean injury wise, and maybe you really had high expectations for that just didn't quite get there when you look back on it with the guys that you coached in Chicago?
Nothing that jumped right out. There was a running back, Curtis Enos,
that
was on offense that I thought was an exceptional person, tough guy, but had injuries. I didn't actually coach Curtis, but I always pulled for it. He was a guy that I thought loved football but had injuries. I thought he was a good teammate. Curtis was one. I'm trying to think defensively. I can't pull up somebody right now that injuries, really slowed their career or cut their career. I had, some other young guys, Boone. That was a big tackle.
Alfonso Boone.
Yeah, Big Booney.
Yep.
I thought was going to be a very good football player for a lot of years, but I can't. No, I can't think of anybody with injury. Then we had Olin Kreutz who had that mental injury that hurt him for all those years. And tell him I said that.
Yeah.
Olin, I love Olin. When I left and I was at Washington, Olin was in the huddle and we were playing. Olin flipped me the bird. And all my players were getting pissed off. I said, no. Say, listen, that's Olin being Olin. That's not like the real flip me the bird. It's kind of like, hi, coach, how you doing, bird?
That's great.
He is priceless. Olin Kreutz. Talk about him real quick. The football player that you saw each and every day. How important was Olin Kreutz to that team?
Olin was one of the toughest people I've ever met. Okay, and people always say this: if I'm ever in a street fight, I want that guy at my back.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want Olin because he'd start the street fight. He said, who are you looking at that way? But no, Olin's one of the toughest people I'd ever been associated with. And I'm going to get a little longer in that story in a second. But he came to practice every day. He loved football.
Yep.
He loved competing. He loved doing the one-on-ones. He loved doing it in a team. When his contract was up, he was hilarious because he'd lay on the field there stretching and he'd holler, Jerry, what about Olin? When is Olin going to get paid? And the team would just be roaring laughing because Jerry would say, come on, Jerry, what about Olin? But a side story is this. I was at the Pro Bowl when Brian had invited my wife and I out, and we were in the stands, and there was these drunks causing a problem behind us, cursing and whatever. And I turned around and asked them, the ladies are here, guys, can you give us a break? And they're like, oh, screw you. And all of a sudden, this big man stood up the row behind them and grabbed one of them and picked him up and reached for the other and just ran and gave him the bum rush out. It was Olin's dad. I went, that's where you got it wrong.
That is great. That is great.
But there were so many guys back then
that
I just really had great admiration for.
Yep.
The way they worked, the way they competed, just the way they handled them, the whole situation, I just thought was unique. And I was never blessed with being around that exact same thing after that. But I had that period in time that a lot of people never get. And that's the one thing I relish. And there's times when I'm sitting there hanging around here, you think back on some of the great opportunities that I was given ability. That's one of them. My time in Chicago was one of my best times in all my years of coaching, even during the down years, because I had a great staff and I had guys, even the year in Champaign when we struggled, we had the injuries and all. Nobody ever backed off of a fight. There was never a time we walked off the field and I had to look at my guys and say, you guys didn't fight. You gave up the ghost. Those guys would fight. And as a coach, that's all I ever wanted. God gave us the amount of talent we have.
Yeah.
But we determine how much fight we're going to do.
Yep.
Because, and I tell the guys at times, if they got beat up, that's not your fault. That's my fault for putting you in that situation. You don't have the ability to cover that guy. But you get stuck at times trying to make a call, and somebody gets stuck with Megatron or something. You go, it's unfair.
Yeah.
But no, I never ever felt like they didn't put everything they had into it, and that's a compliment to them and to Dick and the city of Chicago. Because Chicago's a tough city. It's hard to play football in Chicago and not play great defense. It's hard to play in Chicago and not be physical. I just don't know how unless young kids come in and have no idea of the tradition, I wouldn't want to get drafted in Chicago if I wasn't ready to ball my fist and brawl for 60 minutes every Sunday.
Well,
Coach,
said.
just before we let you go, I got to ask, because this is one of my all-time favorite guys. I mentioned Azuma, but I want to go on the other side of the ball, and I know you're the DC, but you got to see him every day. I was always a huge Marty Booker fan. Just loved everything about biggest hands I've ever seen. They got a huge, couldn't even strap his gloves up. And I know I can remember I was at work and I just got home when they made the Adewale Agunlia trade, and Marty went down to Miami.
Yeah,
I know that was after you were gone, but
yeah,
man, I loved Marty Booker. I loved everything about his game. Speak on him a little bit, because he's one of my all-time favorites.
I love Marty Booker.
Yeah,
because when they threw Marty Booker the ball,
he
was catching it, contested, not contested. And once he got it, he was going to turn upfield, and whoever was going to tackle him was going to pay. He wasn't going to just lay on the ground for you. He wasn't going to run out of bounds. He was going to run over you, and then the two of you would go out of bounds. But he wasn't. He was an incredible competitor, incredible talent. I don't know if he ever had over top speed, but he had enough speed that he scared the dead out of whoever lined up against him. It did. It frightened him. But no, Marty Booker, So like I say, and Anthony Thomas, there were some guys when I was there that even though I was on the defensive side, I admired. I love to watch them play. I
Yeah.
love to watch them compete. No, like I said, those guys were special. That was a special time. And I don't know. I hope Chicago gets back there, but I don't know in this day and age of free agency and how people come and go as much as they do that you can ever get that many guys that you draft, grow, and keep. As we had back then. I don't know if that age of football is gonna still be around, and particularly right now, like I say, everybody's throwing the ball so much that you got to be able to protect the passer and more than run the football. But if you can't protect the passer, then you have to be able to run the football, and you're gonna be going to quarterbacks like Rich Kraft.
Yeah, we're living that life right now, Coach.
I don't see you all the time, but I've watched. I saw the 49er game, and I was really encouraged. And being undefeated in preseason, even though I didn't see it, I check. I still listen. My heart's still there. I still check the scores.
Yeah.
Like, look, we came out of preseason 4-0. We went over, and I'm thinking maybe this Justin Fields kid, is enough. And then I saw a little bit of one of the other games, and it was like we still need more help. I mean, there's work to be done. Like I said, I don't know anybody on that staff anymore, but I still pull for the Bears. I mean, I really do. Even though I don't watch it as much, it affects me. And I live in northern Wisconsin, okay? And they all think the Packers are everything. I'll just show you one thing when I got dressed today.
There you go.
There you go.
I still go to the supermarket that way. It's like, what you can say.
There you go, Coach. There you go. Trust me, this was the first time in a long time that I didn't wear a Bears sweatshirt going to the supermarket after Thursday night's game. I was so disappointed. And normally I'm the opposite. I just listen. I love the Chicago Bears, and
I know that
it's a passion. It's a passion. Imagine your uncles. One coaches the Jets. One is the head coach of the Browns, and I'm a Chicago Bears fan. People don't understand. Like in Connecticut, I'm in the backyard of the Patriots. I should be a Patriots fan, right?
Yeah.
But it's a disease. It's a marriage. However we're going to define it, it changes with the course of how the Bears play, it seems. But with you there, I found myself knowing you've confirmed it tonight on this show. There were times when I knew the Chicago Bears were just going to show up and ball. And whatever happened would happen. It didn't matter if they were going up against the greatest run and shoot offense that's in vogue. The Bears were going to freaking come out and hit, block, and tackle. That is what it boiled down to. And you were a great part of that. I thank you so much for sharing. And we got to keep you on this show with us, bring you back. I know the Bears play Monday night, Coach, so you'll be able to watch that one.
I'll watch Monday night. Yes, I will. And I'll be able to come back and give you a critique on Roquan.
There you go. That's your assignment. I want to know, because Roquan is in this contract year, and I just don't think you pay a guy that's not, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but he's not a game changer at that point. Now, he doesn't have, and there's a transition. But I'm looking, Coach, as a coach, he's not reading gaps. So I don't know if it's the scheme that they're running.
Okay.
They're like, you would shit yourself if you watch some of this where they got tight end wing and they put their end in a 5, leave the tight end wing out there with 3 linebackers stacked, and they're just running toss. They just give the whole edge, Coach. I'm like, this is like high school. Like, you're going up against the Sisters of the Poor that are okay, you're going to give me toss every play. I'm going to take it. Yeah. This kind of stuff, maybe it's the first year, but it's infuriating to me because I don't think it should happen.
No, I told, what you just explained to me gave me nightmares. But I'm going to honestly, I was thinking about that all the we had certain things that you weren't going to do. You weren't going to outflank us.
Exactly.
You were not gonna outflank us, even if we had to have a corner and two beat up the extra
Exactly.
man. He used to be a hard corner, but you work it out. So anyway, I don't want to get into coaching. I don't
We
want
can get
to
to X's and O's. I'll
players.
keep you here another 2 hours. I got one favor before we let you go. Can you give us a station ID? And what that is who you are, and you're keeping it 100 on the Tape Never Lies Network. So you say who you are, however, hey, this is Coach Blache, former defensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
I had those fat asses up front taking care of Brian, whatever you want to say. And I'm keeping it 100 on the Tape Never Lies Network.
You got it.
All right. I'll count you down.
I'm going to see your acting chops now, Coach.
Coach, it took Akeem Hicks 11 takes. He was the worst. Zorich had to write a script.
Yeah, Urlacher fumbled a couple times.
No, just
listen. He gets paid for national commercials.
Yeah.
And then
he got his hair back. His brain.
I've been with him a few times. We've done a little hunting together, and
he's
been to his wedding and the Hall of Fame. I liked him better ball, but hey, I mean, I did.
Yeah.
I caught it later than after he said it. Yeah. That was great. All right, Coach. You got it? You ready? I'll count you down 3, 2, 1. We'll stay on the screen with him, Shane.
There you go.
This way, I don't want to isolate more pressure, right, Ivan?
That's all right. Go for it.
3.
I can handle the pressure.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
There you go.
3, 2, 1.
This is Greg Blache, former defensive coordinator at the Chicago Bears. I'm on 100, keep it real, on the Tape Never Lies. And if you watch the tape and you can't believe your eyes, you're wrong, because your eyes don't lie and the tape don't lie. Good night.
We'll take it.
I'll take it.
You like it?
I got one. All you got to say is, and I'm keeping it 100. You said keeping it real. I hate to be the 100.
Okay.
Everything else, we can edit it together.
There you go.
We got editors here.
I know with this new micro stuff, you can just kind of go
yes.
click. Yeah,
I can make you say anything. I can make you say But let's do it. Okay. Just say I'm keeping it 100 on the Tape Never Lies Network. That's all you have to say.
You got a deal.
And we'll put it together. 3, 2, 1.
I'm keeping it 100 on the Tape Never Lies.
Perfect.
Awesome.
There you go. Gentlemen, Coach Blache, thank you so much.
It's been an honor.
It was an honor to have you on here.
It's fun. I don't do this often, but it's fun. And I was a little leery because I didn't know Alan really well. But Todd had recommended, so I said, I told my drinking buddies, I'm giving up cocktails this afternoon. I said, I may be walking to an ambush. If it is, I'm going to get off fast and I'll call you guys. We'll meet in my garage.
Well, I'm glad you stayed.
Oh, listen, it's been awesome. You guys were awesome. I appreciate it. And thank you for the invite. And like I say, if you'd like to have me back, just give me a shout. I'd be more than happy to visit you guys anytime.
You can bring a cocktail. Bring a cocktail with you next time.
Yes.
No, you don't want me once I have my
Yes,
cocktail.
we do.
That's what keeping it 100 is.
The truth.
George came on here. George came on with a whiskey and a cigar, and we stayed and we laughed. So
I could pull that off next time because I just came inside from my workroom, left my cigar when I
you got it. Listen.
Hey,
all the best.
Ryan Urlacher came out the gates and he came up on the screen and said, "Hey, what's up, fuckers?" That's how he kicked it off with us.
Well, this is actually really water. Next time it won't be.
There you go.
Right, there you go. We'll take it.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you so much. It's been an honor. That's it. Coach Greg Blache. Awesome. I mean, seriously. Is he not a class? That's what you want.
Absolutely.
Carrying your franchise, being a role model for players.
Yeah.
A role model for players.
And Phil, I think everybody knows this at this point. We've doubled down on it and just, beat it into the ground. But when you have a guy that is there, lives it, breathes it every day directly with our team that we, know and love, preaching accountability and what it means, not just coach to player, player to player. Those guys had other players on the field that were holding one another accountable. Bears just don't have enough of that right now.
They're talking. He's talking what I've been talking about for years. Come on, Shane.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I throw the fucking analytics the fuck out. I've said it how many times? Cherie.
Yeah, it can't be the. I wouldn't throw them out. I think they have to be
a piece.
No, they have to be a piece of it. It cannot be the driving force. 100%.
Exactly. If it drives the boat, you're the fucking Titanic.
No, if it drives the boat, that's when you're letting
your off.
Quote. That's when you're letting your
drive the boat.
Right.
It's the fucking Titanic. Because
then what happens is you let your college offensive coordinator talk you into drafting Cade McNown.
Exactly.
And
this is historically what was Michael Haynes? He didn't love the game. Coach is telling you, I didn't listen to the coach. Understand the difference between a guy that loves the game and a guy that doesn't love the game. Understand, like Zach Thomas. He didn't look like a fucking NFL player. I met the dude. He's like 2 inches taller than me. Built like a brick. I'll tell you right now, intimidating. He's like Olin Kreutz. He'll fight anybody, but he didn't make all the measurements. He certainly made the tackles. Right, same with London Fletcher. I always talk about him. Yeah. He doesn't look the part. You got to find those guys.
That's what it's all about, man. You hear him, and I understand, and I'm not saying the coach did this, but you can certainly everybody. Hey, hindsight is always 20/20, and with everybody. But you go back to that 99 draft, the Bears accumulated a ton of picks with that trade down from Washington. New Orleans came up with Washington, gave away their entire draft. Washington went down. They moved back up. Chicago took a bunch of those picks. So that 99 draft, I believe they ended up getting Holdman and Colvin in that draft, in that 99 draft. But up top, you sat right there. If you didn't, they wanted a quarterback, obviously. But
I was with Cole. I wanted Culpepper.
Culpepper, yeah.
Yeah, it's so easy. It's the Deshaun
and I think
Watson thing.
I think that was McNabb was up top to Philly.
He was the guy I wanted.
Yeah,
like, 100%. My God, please get, because Pascaloni and my dad.
Yeah,
like
and Achilles Smith ended up going after that to Cincy.
Yeah,
and Chicago. Both of those guys went. Chicago ended up dropping down, obviously because of Croton's influence. But you walk away from a Hall of Fame corner in Champ Bailey, and everybody knew then that Champ Bailey was a blue chip elite type prospect at the time. But Chicago went down, and then Culpepper falls. I mean, you look at Minnesota back then. I know Dante ended up blowing his knee up, but their back-to-back picks, 98, Randy Moss, 99, Dante Culpepper, that could have been Chicago.
Yeah.
Really could have been.
All those points. I mean, Coach was outstanding tonight. I know everybody wants to get into, and I asked him the Roquan to try to bring him, but he was so completely, thoroughly keeping it 100. I don't watch it. And I'm sure he will now and give me a truthful answer. I have so much respect for that man. That was so much fun talking to him.
I love it.
It just verifies real recognizes real.
Mm-hmm.
He verified it at the end where he had the escape clause. He had his girlfriend calling him in sick if the date wasn't going right. He had an out if these guys don't know. I don't know, Alan, if this is bad, but even that truth is verified there. That I appreciate that from him as well. But what he said for me at the penitentiary,
Yeah,
when he's there's a lot of great.
So true.
I worked in the
So
prison
true. Yeah.
for 14 years, and there couldn't be a more true statement than that.
Yeah.
And it is
my big under the radar takeaway from Coach. I don't even know if you caught it. Was when, I don't know who the hell talked him into drafting Opie at quarterback when he's talking about Cade
when he
McNown.
said Opie,
I'm like,
we all knew who he's talking
yeah.
about.
But I mean, that reaffirms what Olin said, what Shane Matthews said, all of that. And I'm like, it's such a weak way to phrase it, but it's just typical Chicago Bears and what they have been forever. Why do they suck? Because their drafting has been abysmal.
They're free agents.
That's why.
Shiny free agents.
Yeah, you're doubling down on C and B level talent by paying them, A+ level prices to fill in the potholes that you've created in the draft. How are the Bears going to get out of this? It's going to be by drafting, finding playmakers, and developing the guys. And you have to hit with your premium picks. Ryan Pace did not do it. Jerry Angelo went away. Early he had some hits, and then things changed. And
what were Angelo's hits? I'm trying to think in the first round, in the prime picks.
Well, he came in 2002, and I will give him this. Mark Colombo was playing well before he got his knee blown up. So
yeah, his story's hard to tell. And then he goes to Dallas and he shows you.
2003 was awful with everybody was saying, I believe the defensive tackle's name was Bernard Robertson, out of Kentucky, I believe. In 2000,
remember the 3 technique.
Yeah. The Jets fell in love with him. The Bears.
I remember.
I was always
he had
told,
the 4th pick.
Yeah. And then the Bears traded down and they got the 2 picks from the Jets. Bears went Haynes, Grossman.
Yes.
And I was always told that the guy that the Bears had targeted was Kevin Williams. And if you go back and watch that draft, that was the one. Minnesota was on the clock and they just kept on bypassing their pick. Everybody just kept on jumping, making a pick.
Yeah,
and I believe
Minnesota was off. They lost the time.
Yeah, Mike Tice was there, right?
That was Tice. He was the coach.
Yep. And
were we in that cusp right there? Were we in that cusp? What do we have here? Angelo's first round picks here.
So he came into so you have Tommy Harris, Tank Johnson,
Tommy Harris,
Bernard Berrien. But then you're talking 2003. You have a good draft, but your 2 headliners, Michael Haynes and Rex Grossman. I mean, at the time, those weren't the guys that I would have taken, and I'm just being honest.
Can you go up to the Kyle Orton draft? I need to see that one. So that was Daniel Manning. No, where's the
no
Cedric Benson. What the hell was that? I thought it was Maya.
No, it's whatever. The commercial. I'll bring it back up in this.
It's fine.
But 2005, you got Cedric Benson. Mark Bradley had all the talent in the world, but Phil, his knee was held together with, bubble gum and duct tape. He had a breakout game. I believe it was in Detroit. Had 88 first half yards.
Mark Bradley.
Yeah, Mark Bradley.
Yeah, I love him. Out of Oklahoma.
Yep. Hi.
That's right. Out of Oklahoma.
But that's the thing. The Bears have drafted. I mean, terrible is putting it kindly. And you heard Coach talk about it, even with Mitch, and you're going through the Bears. I believe in 99.
There's no justification.
But even you're following it up with bombs. 99, they draft Cade McNown. They follow it up with Russell Davis, the defensive lineman from North Carolina. What do you follow Mitch up with? You're following Mitch up with Adam Shaheen. it's just that
you had
that's
Kittle, my boy Kittle, crushed my
you're
soul.
dropping the
Take
landmine.
Kittle.
Yeah,
this isn't hindsight either. If you follow me, you knew.
That long touchdown. I was like, I believe that was on a screen. I believe that was on like a bubble screen to Mark Bradley where he went up the sideline.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's their drafting is it tells the story of why they've been terrible.
Now we're with a new GM. His first draft, Kyler Gordon,
without
Brisker,
very many bullets in the chamber. He
ended up getting a lot of bullets.
Right, but
he's got a
still
second
different.
round pick.
It's still different when you're bringing in a bunch of 6th and 7th and stuff like that.
But 2 second-round picks.
Oh no, I get it, and I'm not complaining
You got
about either.
Brisker. I love Brisker. I believe Brisker, and I think
Gordon is.
We're 100% right about Gordon. His head is spinning. Because I feel
Arrow's
like
still pointing up, though, Phil.
Absolutely.
That's people want to jump off train and they see Alec Pierce had a touchdown. And people have George Pickens in the goddamn Hall of Fame at this point. And he's Randy Moss. And I'm like, just let's pump the brakes on that.
The obvious elephant in the room is the cigar smoking where we left off with before Coach. We got to get into all this stuff and bring our guys out here on the show. We bring our producers out here and actually talk with them. The reality of Velus smoking a cigar, to me,
it's just a bad look, man.
It's opposite of what Greg Blache is wanting. You know what I'm saying? That's what Philatoshin wants is not that. You want to go to the game, make yourself scarce. Don't make yourself available after you did. I don't even know. Again, it's a puncher's mentality where you're getting back up and you're fighting. But because I know you got to live your life and you don't want this to hang over your head. But when you're in a social media world and a fan base that loves the Chicago Bears like we all do, just face it. You don't put yourself out there celebrating after you basically cost your football team a football game for the second time.
Yeah, there's no basically about it. You have to be more aware than that. All right, if you're there, you're there. Why are you just put the fucking phone down, do your thing, whatever. But to me, I'm probably being harder on Velus because I hated the fucking pick on draft night. And didn't agree with it then, don't agree with it now. I'm not writing the kid off. To me, he's used up all of his lives as a punt returner this season.
They trot him out.
And if they put him out there, Phil, and I don't want to hear any about the self-scouting or reassessing, everything all the way down to, how we run our offense. I don't want to hear if they put him out there as the return man. I don't want to hear any of that. You didn't reassess anything. If he's out there.
If you put those 5 same guys out there on the offensive line, you are now the next shoemaker. You are now the next. You aren't fucking watching tape. All you got to do is sign up to become a patron to watch the whole. I don't know how many minutes, Ivan, that I put out there on our YouTube channel. What is it? 12 minutes?
I'm sure they'll tell you.
Everyone complaining. It's so short. Well, become a patron. You get the whole fucking analysis. That's really what it's about. It's like time is money, right, Jackal? You got to have that out there. I'm busting my ass to fucking do this the right way, not be some fucking flip-flop Brit going back and forth with whatever the fuck you're going to be happy for the fan base. I don't do that shit. And take subtle shots. My shot is straight at you. Step the fuck back. Back the fuck up and understand those 5 guys aren't going to help your quarterback. So you have a responsibility as a father, as a coach, as a leader of men. You don't, Greg said it. You don't have to like everybody. You got to love them. You got to love them. You got to coach them hard and have the expectation. So if I see a fucking same five, Sam Mustipher at center, just put Lucas Patrick at center. Stop the fucking charade. That was your fucking move. The GM has to this is pathetic. He's not a guard. There's a play, stands. He's like I called him a Pop-Tart coming out of the oven, the toaster. He just stands right up, boop, swims by him. You can't be successful as a young quarterback like that. Can't do it. Come on. It's like every play there's a fucking breakdown in pass pro. Braxton Jones looks like it's fucking a loaf of bread getting pushed back. Mustipher can't get to the mic on toss. Then you can't run toss that. You're going to have to scheme it differently because he can't get there. What are you doing it for? You can't, like Greg was, I just explained it to Greg. You all as patrons saw the picture of me showing you tight end wing, Robert Quinn in a head up on the fucking tackle. Here's your Sam linebacker stacked behind him. Here's Roquan, and there's the Will over here on the backside. Sorry, here's Morrow. Here's Roquan. They just fucking wall you off like a punt return. Here's 9. Go ahead, have it. We're going to make adjustment. We're going to get your fucking edge up. Get up. It's infuriating me. You think Bill Belichick isn't watching? Let's see what we should do here. They're like licking. Judon is like, I'm going to fucking break a sack record. That's what he's going to say. This can't be politics anymore. I'm sorry. Alan, get Ryan Poles on the show. Every fan, I'm serious. We don't have the paid connection like Adam Hogue and Johns, where the Athletic is paying Ryan Poles. So if we have to fucking do, what is that shit?
I love all
a GoFundMe. A GoFundMe for Poles to come on the show and answer the truthful questions. The truthful. Like, leave your pride at the door. I don't understand why Tevin Jenkins, and I've converted at least 45 different people that you were right. Tevin's got. Was I right about Tevin Jenkins? He's your best. Put your best. Start building now where you're going. Riley Reif could play the right tackle. Put Tevin at left tackle. Get Lucas Patrick. Maybe Borum pushes inside the right guard. Why is Jatari Carter on the active roster? Because you drafted him. Does he even fucking know his plays? But meanwhile, you got a guy, Dieter Heisler, sitting there. Let's see what you have. We're just going to go out there and just look like putrid ass and completely get manhandled. I don't understand. I will lose my mind. It'll be a rant at fucking halftime if they come out and stuff. I'll just go live during the fucking game, Shane, on our Patreon, right at the fucking beginning of the game. If I see those 5 same lines, that is the most pathetic performance. I'm so sorry to those people that paid good money, and it's okay. You know, players are going to suck. Players are going to be bad. But they have a job.
Oh, yeah.
They are getting fucking paid to do it. They have to know. Phil's being hard on me. It's so hard. This isn't rainbows and sunshine. We ain't prettying up this pit. Wasn't to be out there hoping the Chicago Bears get a fucking high pick. Gotta get a high pick. That's not my goal. I believe this team has talent. You can't ignore what's on the tape, Coach. And I know a lot of people, before we move on in my little mini rant here, I know a lot of people fucking want to go read into what Coach is saying, the hot hand. Yeah, that's what you should always do. That's what coaching is. I have a coach with me, coaching flag. That's not where I've identified flag. I have a family. I can't pick up and move to Utah to coach receivers at Utah right now. I just can't. I have a family, so I have to make family decisions. So my decision is to coach 7-year-olds and 8-year-olds in flag football, Cherie. And I got a coach that said, well, just tell me the plays. I'll, when you're gone, and I'll run them, list them 1, 2, 3. Like, that's not how it works, Coach. You have to feel what's going on in the game. You have to go into that. And now the Chicago media, I like a lot of these people. I'm not putting anybody's name. You can fill in names, but there is nobody holding them accountable except TTNL. And I'm talking about the Chicago Bears. Like, everybody is now trying to copy or don't fraud. You can't fake passion.
Sunshine and rainbows.
And there we transition.
Finally.
We've been waiting for that. Speaking of transition, BHL right after Patriots
identity. Yeah, you look at the tape. So as a coach, your resume is the tape.
Loses the football. Strip sack and
Bears our live.
Give me some
Bears our live. We go on live right after.
Yes.
Breaking news. The tape never lies. Network breaking news.
We figured it out right here. Rob says the Bears need Belichick type coach, Phil.
Yeah. Rob ain't lying. Rob's right.
He's right. Give him a break.
Rob ain't lying. We do need a Belichick type. I'm not kidding when I say that the Bears need somebody like Greg Blache to identify the real from the
proctologist. That was a great
the proctologist. Hopefully these guys cut these highlights out and send.
I can only imagine the smells coming out of that thing, but
you guys are on point with these drops. But the reality is, I was emotional in it. I got goosebumps a couple times because that's the place that I'm raised from. Everything he's saying, that's what my father taught me. And the Chicago Bears, for all these years, there was that one glimpse that I see the Bears playing like bullies. They love each other. They play hard. And you know what you're going to get. And you identify with the misses, what Shane is talking about. You missed on opportunities. Here's a guy, I wanted the freak. I wanted Dante Culpepper. So did I. Why can't you do we all wanted somebody. Nobody wanted Mitch. I don't know many people that wanted Mitch. This isn't about Mitch, but it's just a perspective for you. It's like, I knew when they were going up, I'm strutting. They're doing it, Steph. Finally, that's Steph. They're getting Watson. And I had like this emotional tear in my eye. Are you sure? I go, yeah. And I'll be fine with Mahomes. That's how I felt. I wanted and Mitch Trubisky, and your stomach just, and you try. You want to believe, okay, they have $1 billion business all this computers, all this virtual reality, right, Shane? They used it for a year.
Yeah, I tweeted that out today. Where is all the hype around that? I mean, when Mitch was, in his infancy here in Chicago, it was all about, we're upgrading Hallis Hall. We got this new VR, system for quarterbacks. It's going to take them to the next level. And now it's, what made me think about that was Patrick Finley was like so happy and proud of himself. I'm writing an article for the Patriots game about all the quarterbacks the Bears have had since Bill Belichick's been coach in New England. And I'm like, oh, great, Pat. Like every fucking Bears fan doesn't realize. Yeah, Bears quarterback positions suck.
Really?
Bravo. Thanks, man.
Hold on, I got a great idea.
Wow. Where the fuck did you get that one from? I mean, holy shit. What are you going to write next? The Bears offense hasn't been good. Holy shit. 2 in a row. Put that on the front page of the Sun-Times. This shit is so fucking weak. It makes me nuts. Like,
I don't know what's worse. Like,
every time we play the fucking Packers, it's the list of Chicago Bears fucking quarterbacks since, going back to Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Like, oh, man, you guys are next fucking level with this shit. Lunch with Larry. It's that bullshit. It's mediocre. Everything associated with this franchise has been fucking mediocre, including a lot of the fucking beat reporters. Not all of them, but come on. Do we need another article saying that the Bears quarterbacks have sucked, Pat? No. That's fucking lazy. It just is.
It is. I agree. Listen, if you're new to the show, Keeping It 100, we have no leftover bullets in our gun. It's everybody is accountable. That's what Keeping It 100 is. So if you're some imitating show that steals our drops and talks shit to beat reporter that has access to the general manager and completely asks the stupidest fucking questions.
What did the t-shirts say, Coach, that you presented to the players? What's the meaning? Are they 100% cotton? Are you worried about them not fitting well when they get all sweaty, Coach? Talk about it while I brush my teeth.
Listen, we're sitting there in pressers. People are wondering, why are Phil and Shane talking over the I'm like, guys, just go watch the coach talk after BHL. Our analysis is of how the coach handled it. And for the first time, that was the moment. Forget the play against Washington. Forget all the stuff. That moment in the presser after Washington, that moment was hurtful to me because I'm afraid that Eberflus, when you come out and you start going down the list of positives, that is an analytics way, a nerd's way, a business way of protecting the CEO that's about to get fired. You got to take it on the chin that it's unacceptable, that what transpired out there is not going to happen again. We know we should have won.
Even if you know that you don't have enough talent, even if you know that you're not good enough, Phil, you have to come out and say that.
Exactly. You have to be, you can't, and Cars will say it, and many of people will say it. I have maybe too much love for people, and then they let me down, and I get into that place where I start beating myself up about letting down people. Maybe I trust too many people, or maybe I put myself out there too much, or whatever. I take it to heart that I want people to understand that I'm coming from the place where nobody's question is dumb until you're at that pinnacle moment when you have that job and you ask that stupidest thing. You're talking for the fan. You can't be afraid to ask that coach the hard question, because Tristan Rivers and everybody else, Bill Wagner, they want the fucking hard question. Like, they want change. They want that. So if I was ever allowed, I would never be. I was an oppressor with Bill Belichick. True story. I was working for Bears Wire. I was an oppressor, and I was around all of these guys. And it was such a little fucking shit show frat house clique. Kid you not. So they're asking, my question was to Coach, how live are you going to allow this practice to be? How live do you want it to be? And Bill Belichick's eyes lit up. He's like, because I wanted to know. This was a inter-squad practice, Patriots Bears. After that question, there's a fight on the field with Martellus Bennett. If you remember that time, this is what I wanted. And, these guys are asking all these leading questions. They know the answer. Or they know they're not going to get an answer. You're wasting it. So you have to have a plan, and there's certain people on the beat that I interact with that I feel they understand it. But I think the Bears organization, we had someone admit that on the show, that you got to be very, especially when Nagy was, you got to be very careful what you say, because they start getting antsy about these questions, and it's got to change.
We had a person that we love and respect here on this network, Deion Miller, who's going to be, with us, not tonight, but coming up.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, she, we asked her specifically about sitting down with players with a one-on-one. She said, absolutely not. Because you brought it up. I still remember. You're like, so if you wanted to interview Akeem Hicks and talk to him, about his time in Chicago, and if he's going to, she's like, no, never. Imagine being a beat reporter. You're there every day, and you can't have that sort of access. The Bears are worried about the wrong things.
Exactly.
They're focused on the wrong stuff.
Don't let Ivan and Allen film practice in shorts. Get that guy's phone. Let's look through Lester's phone and see what he had. Did he record? What trade secrets? What are you doing? What things are you now advancing football into the next decade with? But
if that is your priority, then it just shows you that your eyes are not on the prize. Ultimately, you know what I mean?
Nick Saban ain't worrying about fans in the stands.
I'm not trying to ruffle feathers, but when I had my back and forth with Lawrence Holmes on Twitter years ago, when we're where we used to be before, I felt like their post-game show, with the access that they have, with the talent that they had Matt Forte and Alex Brown and Lance Briggs and Lawrence Holmes was on there. It always bothered me because they were more wanting to bag on the Bears for being bad and laughing it up. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, all right, Lance, you went to a fucking Super Bowl, but you guys underachieved almost every goddamn year you played. Same with you, Matt. But you guys you're up there talking like exactly, well, why the fuck didn't you do it when you're playing then? You have all the answers now, so it irritated me. And then Lawrence Holmes would jump in bagging on the team. They're not trying to fix the problem. It was piling on because that's what these guys are doing. So I took it to Twitter and it pissed me off. And Lawrence is like, well, you never know who's going to make or break you in this business. I'm like, dude, you ain't making or breaking me. At the time I was like fucking 34, 35 years old. I'm like, I don't give a fuck who Lawrence Holmes is.
Goal wasn't even in.
Go write a fucking you write a fucking right. You write a fucking comic book, bro. I don't give a fuck.
We've had in transparency, we've had patrons and fans of the network leave being patron or being fans of TTNL just because I I praise Olin Kreutz because he was the voice that actually, love him or hate him, he fucking cares about this franchise. So he's giving his truth on that stage where Lawrence or whoever else is going to not giggle in front of him. Because you know what? That ain't going to fix shit. And you're 100% right. You're watching that shit. I'm telling you this. When I see a victory and I see a beat reporter, whoa, Super Bowl, playing that fucking meatball rhetoric, whatever, talk down frat bullshit. It's like, you don't fucking get it. You don't fucking have an ounce of understanding. It matters. Winning fucking matters. Losing is a fucking disease.
Yeah.
Winning is a penicillin. Even if that game was so shitty, if Mooney catches that fucking ball, my week is better. There's hope, as Gary would say. But it ends like that in travesty. It makes everything worse. That's spoken like someone that's never fucking played the game. You nerd. You have the fucking power. You have the fucking position. You're getting paid.
Yeah.
And you're taking that stance towards the
I
fans.
think
Come on.
I was going to say, it's not going to get easier this season. So it's like, we're critical when we need to be critical. We give praise when there needs to be praise. It's been rough. Like, it's been very, very rough watching pretty much every single phase of this team.
Yep.
It's been rough. If you're looking for progress, like Phil said, the wins are progress. You're going to have a rough schedule coming up. And I think with execution, this team could have a solid second half if they're able to go ahead and, whether it's coaching, whether it's the players trying to get out of their own, way or whatever, they're going to have to overcome adversity at some point this season. They're going to have to get over this beating themselves. It's, if you look at that last month, the last month of the season is murderer's row. It's murderer's row. You're going to have to go up against these teams and challenge them. And I think I had told Phil a while back, I'm not looking for them to go out and beat the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to see who's competing and how are you executing and are you contending? Like, you can't even execute simple plays against the Washington, whatever the hell they want to call themselves now.
Commanders.
I have to see. I said before, I think this is going to be a second half team as far as execution goes. I hope I'm right. They're going to have to do it. If they don't, it's going to get even worse.
Well said, man. That's really that was the most disheartening thing. The game, cut it out. The game sucked. The tape was worse.
Yeah,
You have that is the ultimate. Sometimes there's been times where the game sucks. They fucking lost. And then you watch the tape and there's like, okay,
it's not so bad.
Okay, right. It's not as bad. To Ivan's point, they're fundamental. They picking up. They're knowing. You watch the Cole Kmet. You're fucking coming down on a wing block on backside. You fucking put your head down and duck like Ole. You guy went right by you. You did nothing. This is your job. Fucking, toss. Okay, if your center can't get to a mic because he's not athletic and fast enough, strong enough, whatever, then you got to fucking have him get to the two and have the guard get up to them. You got to do something. No, we're going to just be stubborn. We know he ain't going to do it, but let's do it. That's where I get so nervous because you're not maniacal. That offensive line coach, you're putting that shit out there on your name. You can't put what Braxton Jones is pass blocking like this, like turned completely like a goalpost. His side is facing the audience. No, straight back. right here. You're square. If he's coming, you got him. If he's going outside, you're straight back. Then you got him again. It's like your soft edge is so bad. You're going to get somebody hurt. And Justin almost gets hurt in this game.
I thought he broke his
Mustipher gets
leg, man.
fucking-
I thought he broke his leg there.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
93 takes Mustipher. They did a stunt. And it's not easy. I'm not saying it was an easy block.
No, but Phil, you see it every fucking week in college and pro football.
Dude, this guy fucking lights Mustipher in the face. I'm talking. You watch it. And Jenkins has to push because they're running a stunt. So this guy's coming back and he's coming on Mustipher to get to Jenkins. But Mustipher he gets buried. So he just walks over Mustipher, trips, and hits Justin right in the fucking tibia or fibia, whatever the fucking bone is. And that could have been it. That could be it. And that can't be it. That's what I'm saying. It just can't continue like this. It shouldn't. My father and I, we're going to watch X's with the O's. He's going to be like, what do they call? Wait till you watch that show.
Yeah. The part that gets me nervous is we called it out immediately on BHL was when Flus came out and, Phil immediately listed off the positives. And he's like, but I'm telling these guys in there in the locker room, guys, we're close. And then the QB1 comes out and is like, I'm sick of hearing that we're close. I'm sick of hearing that. And then Jalen Johnson's like, yeah, I hear that. I think that's coming from the staff. Saying that we're close. Yes. Jalen Johnson said that. I think that's coming from the staff, saying that we're close. And no, it's, we want to win. We don't want to be close. We want to win.
Gotta want to win.
And I understand it, but even with the lack of overall talent and depth on this team, you've been there in the Giants game.
Exactly.
You've been there in the Washington game.
Minnesota.
The Minnesota game. You can go back to Green Bay. Listen, you gave the football away down 8.
Down 8.
So
down 8.
That if
I was saying the same
Ben
thing.
Ricketts had a good point that you have to be a realist, but if you want to take a silver lining out of any of this, with all of these questions, with the talent deficiency, with the quarterback being up and down, with the running game being there, but questioning personnel decisions, the Bears, to Flus's point, have been right there with a chance with the lack of talent. So to Ben's point is you want to hope in the offseason or make a couple of moves here at the trade deadline that can give you, maybe a little boost on the offensive side of the ball. And you're unfortunately going to be taking a step back on the defensive side of the ball, because if a guy gets traded, you're looking at number 94 first and foremost. Let's be honest. He doesn't have a future here in Chicago. Just doesn't. They're not re-signing him.
Based on this, what transpired, I would never believe this was going to happen. That's my truth. To every Bears fan, it ain't a homer. It's just I believed that fundamentals were going to be a priority, running the football. But once I saw what you were putting as your starting offensive line, now I was under the impression, okay, Lucas Patrick breaks his hand. This happens, that. Then the Tevin Jenkins thing just did not sit well with me. It's just like, I don't give a fuck what. You work it out. You got to have that kind of player. You got to put him in the position that's going to fucking help you and work it out. It ain't helping you at guard. Yeah, he's playing some great football or whatever. PFF's going to put him in the top 3 guards and whatever the fuck. That left tackle position is atrocious. And it's been that way. So I'm just saying, even if you decide, okay, put Riley Reef there then. He's played, put him there, and put Jenkins at right fucking tackle. He's 20 times the player, and I like Larry Borum. But Larry Borum is not Tevin Jenkins. We'll leave it there. Tevin is a finisher, and he does it consistently. And you only build off that. Whatever shit you had with him or whatever he said, whatever she said, he said. I'm sure Olin said some shit back in the day too. And Dick Durand was like, well, no, we're going to put that kind of fucking human being out there. Now, that's the fix. You have to protect those edges right now with this young, especially with a guy that he doesn't see the field yet. I pointed out to you. He doesn't. He's afraid to anticipate. So now we're going to play chicken or the egg. Is it because of the shitty offensive line? There's going to be 500 people there. Is it because of Justin Fields in college? He can't read. There's going to be 500 people there. All I know is you can't have both chaoses. You can't have a shitty line and a guy that can't read and anticipate, because that is just, let's just run the ball. Let's drop back, QB draw. Drop back, run, QB punt. Come up with a new offense. Just everybody run back, let your guy through, then peel back and block and let Justin find a way. Is that what you're going to be? It's like, come on. We got fucking guys flopping, must-have flop. I mean, it's embarrassing at this point. And I was so heated after that game. I'm still heated. It's still bothering me.
Oh, yeah, that one was that one. I was talking to Cars earlier, and that was the one that made you say, man, I'm glad I have Sunday off this week. You know what I mean? It did. It really did. And it's
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You and I did the same thing,
I
Phil.
went to a fucking farm and
me
enjoyed
too.
the day with my family.
We did the same thing.
Picked out pumpkins, Shane. I got lost in a corn maze.
Us too.
I cheated. I'll tell you.
Oh,
it was my son's idea, and I go, "You're brilliant. I love the fact that you want to cheat. Let's get there's the play." I'm like, "How the fuck?"
I could see it right there. We're not supposed to go through this part, but let's just fucking go. Yeah.
We had that fucking police tape wired. We went.
Mommy and Emerson aren't gonna beat us. We'll bank right through here, and we're there. I'm like, "Fuck, this was easy." Yeah, we did the same exact thing, bro.
Oh my God, I was just so in a place, but then I get sucked in by football, man. I'm watching and I'm getting jealous.
Yeah.
I'm watching fucking offensive line pick up blitzes.
Yeah.
I'm watching centers I'm watching Michigan, and Big O is fucking just mauling motherfuckers from Mustafa. His brother. Is that his brother? At Penn State? Can we look that up?
Yeah.
He's just fucking taking Mustafa on Penn State and just driving his ass. You're the 5th ranked run defense. Here's Big O. Fucking Jim Harbaugh. I had Jim Harbaugh envy.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said to Riley. We have season tickets to Syracuse, and they've been having a good year so far. I think it can change real quick this weekend in Clemson. Yeah.
This is
but we were sitting there in our seats, and I'm like, Riley, this is what it should feel like. In Syracuse, the way that it goes, every single third down, and it's everyone. The PA announcer comes out, he goes, third down, and whatever the distance is, and they're playing the hype music, and every fucking person in the dome gets up and starts. So there was people, we have when you have season tickets, you get used to the people that you're sitting around, and there was people that I've never seen before.
You're hugging
every third down. We're up, and the lady's like, "Excuse me, sir, can you sit? You keep on standing. Can you sit down?" And I said, "Sure can't."
Sure can't. And I love you for that.
Yeah. And
where's Larison? Jim Larison. My first time with Jim sitting in his section, I'm like, third down, Chicago's playing the fucking Packers.
Yeah.
The whole section sitting.
No way.
I lost my motherfucking voice.
So did my son.
Get the fuck up. Yeah. Ask Jim. He'll be the witness. I got every one of those fat fucks out of their seats. What are you doing here? This is the whole identity of your team. You need to help them win. You need every fucking break you can get. It drove me insane because, I go to fucking even a Jets game. All the Jets fans half empty. At least all of them are fucking standing on third down, screaming. That was when I criticized. That was you don't live in Chicago.
Yeah.
You don't have season tickets, so you shouldn't be able to question that. I'm like,
right. Yeah. The same lady
yourself and your Chicago where you live. How about stand up for your team?
Yeah.
Hey, wait. Don't fuck Chicago. That's not right.
Hey, if you're
we got to the
dome. I'm just saying. I'm gonna cheer for him. Let's just take it easy on Chicago.
On third down, as in that Washington game, I'm standing to help this team win. Did anybody think after fucking I know Marsette's gone. Right? But after he drops that ball on fourth down, does anybody believe they get the ball back? They go down the field. They're inside the motherfucking 5. Cole Kmet's doing the fucking Madonna Vogue block. I don't know what he's fucking doing. Standing. Go downfield and block somebody. Fucking Larry Bourne. Just block that one guy. Just give me one effort and he's gone. Khalil Herbert. He's in the end zone if you just decided you wanted to do something. That's on the coach. Hopefully this loafs, you know how many loafs there are? This would be the worst grade they'd ever seen. But you got to get up. You got to get third downs. You got to be loud. I know TTNL will be loud. I know that.
So PJ is Sam Mustafer's brother.
There you go.
You're right.
And he got
also a 4-star recruit.
He got Mustafered by Michigan.
Maryland too, I think.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he did. He was a wrestler too.
Good football player. But I'm just saying, Jim Harbaugh has those guys on the offensive line. You want to watch an offensive line? You want to learn offensive line? Watch Michigan run the goddamn football. Fucking traps, fucking block down. Center's getting on the backer. They could beat anybody. Put fucking Alabama up again. If that offensive line block, they will beat anybody. Anybody. Because it all starts up front. Doesn't matter. If that's what you're doing. That was a clinic watching Michigan, Penn State. I was just like, wow, you guys are coaching. And Penn State knew it was coming at them and it still couldn't stop. That's when you know. So hopefully they keep that up. You don't want to let down, but in that game, that's how important this bear. And we've had moments where our run game is like that. And then, listen, there's many critical moments in the Washington Commanders game. There is. When Khalil Herbert breaks that long run and on first down and goal, you gave it to him again, and you could see that he's gassed. Demo in. It doesn't take this. It infuriates me. Okay, fourth and goal.
Gave you the feeling. It gave you the feeling that they were trying to force the issue to be like, and that's what drove me nuts. And I mean, on 4th and 13, you're going to Smith Marset. Okay. I mean,
sure it goes to.
Yeah, it's
now he's going to Wendy's.
Yeah. Right.
He's gone. No offense to him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he'll pop up on somebody's practice squad, the Bear. And I see people on Twitter where, calling the kid a complete. Listen, there's not a bust factor to it. You're looking at the kid's speed and you're trying to see what he has here. And we told you the bottom of this roster is going to be turned over. I'm actually surprised. I thought it would be turned over even more, going here into week 7. I thought that there would be more of this, but
I don't get Ja'Tari Carter on the. That's just What? Put him on the practice. What is he doing? What are you doing on the offensive line? This is going to be the biggest story here on this network if those 5 same guys are out there. I didn't think they'd do it with the Commanders game. I really thought Lucas Patrick was going to be at center and we were going to see a change and we were going to take a step forward. We didn't see that. We didn't. And listen, the rookie is the rookie. There's no doubt the kid has a lot of upside. I'm not saying that. He's just old.
He's not there yet.
I agree with
wrong,
it.
and there's nothing
wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that, right? Exactly. I mean,
you keep feeding the ducks.
Cherie's getting her script ready.
And you get fucked when you keep feeding the ducks. You do. Speaking of, oh yeah.
I'm not ready.
Oh, get that
She ain't
scream
ready.
on,
She is
girl.
not.
Cherie, are you bleeding? Cherie, are you bleeding? Cherie?
Say balls. I love balls. That should come with some context. Speaking of balls, I love balls.
Yeah. Added a little extra to that one this week.
Gary, where are you?
Who's Gary, Cherie? All right. Phil, why don't we isolate on her for her picking this up?
Shout out to Cherie's mom.
Cherie, you only live once. Just let her rip.
Is this a Halloween?
It is,
script?
Cherie.
Do you need to loosen up, Cherie? Do you?
Yeah.
I got you, Cherie. Hold on.
How about
I got
this?
something that'll help.
Oh, that's the juice, baby. Yo, I feel the juice in my mouth. Yo, the juice in your ass like Florida orange, baby. Yo.
Jeepers creepers.
I got you.
As long as Cherie's happy, I'm happy.
Oh,
I need that clip.
I'll send it to you.
I love balls.
What do you
As long
got,
as
Cherie?
Cherie's happy.
Just let her. Just close your eyes and pretend like you're on a beach with Thomas Jones. He's just about to run you. You're at the goal line. He's about to run you over. Go ahead. What are you
As
gonna
long as Cherie's happy, I'm happy.
That do it for you?
What's that gonna sound like, Cherie?
Wow. I'm flipping that.
You cut her off there. She was doing her thing. Just
I
do
didn't
it.
know. It's my fault.
Oh my gosh. It's a bloodbath. And
It's a bloodbath.
Gotta be a better way to get my dagger clean and shiny safely than this.
Clean that. Oh man,
Better
there's
clean
nothing.
that dagger.
Honestly, there's nothing like a girl with a clean dagger. Go ahead, Cherie.
Well, anyway, that's what I used to deal with when I cut myself shaving before I knew about Manscaped. Thank you, Manscaped, for keeping my dagger slick and ready for wherever the night takes me. Manscaped is trusted by over 6 million men worldwide. Join the movement by going to manscaped.com for 20% off. Plus, free shipping with the code YOKO. True story, not personal, but by a friend. Just to talk about making sure you stay groomed finally. Because I have a friend who's done the Brazilian thing, and she told me it felt like her soul got snatched because she waited so long in between. So it's not only important to Manscaped, but please make sure you keep it groomed. Don't wait till the summertime when you think that's when everybody gonna see it. If you stay in the routine, you won't have to worry about trying to figure out, if you got a hot
winter trim.
Yeah.
If you got a hot day in the middle of the winter and you gotta go shave a whole tree, that's just gonna cost too much. You can end up nicking yourself. That's why you just gotta Manscape year round. It is important to keep it maintained.
Yes. 365.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Phil.
Consistency.
Stay on.
Manscaped.
It's time to end the days of shaving your balls, ending up looking like a horror movie. The folks at Manscaped have the perfect package for your package. to get this done. The below the waist grooming leaders have a 4th generation performance package. Inside you'll find a lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, weed whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the liquid formulations, and 2 free gifts. Spooky season is here, and Manscaped is getting you set. Starting with their Lawnmower 4.0, this 4th generation trimmer also features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents, thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Also included is their weed whacker. This nose and ear hair trimmer is here to whack your weeds and any goblins that come your way. Both lawnmower and weed whacker are waterproof. In the comfort of your home or in the wild waters, these tools are your best friends. Speaking of your best friends, don't forget to give your testy bestie the love they desire with Manscaped fitness formulations. First is the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. You put deodorant under your armpits. Why not put deodorant on your balls?
Gotta get those balls deodorized.
And can't forget about their Crop Reviver Ball Reviver to give the boys a boost. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped boxes and the Shed Travel Bag. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code YOKO at manscaped.com. Spend spooky season using the best tools for the job at Manscaped. So y'all not out here looking like werewolves. Get 20% off and
20%.
20% off. Plus free shipping now. You're getting a discount and free shipping.
Discount, free shipping.
With the code YOKO at Manscaped.
YOKO.
That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use your code YOKO. Slay your worst pubes and keep your dagger clean with Manscaped.
Always. Cherie brings it. This Halloween trick or treat. Clean that dagger. Trim those bushes around that deck. Show that deck off.
That's where Jackal is right now. He's been having some his daggers had some issues lately, so he's trying to get that taken care of.
As long as Cherie's happy, I'm happy.
Hey, as long as she's happy. If you step out, use the promo code YOKO, 20% off. I can attest it is the very best. Cleaning daggers this Halloween season, all for you guys here on TTNL. Are we gonna do bear up or bear down or no? We don't need to.
It was all bear down.
I think it's an all down show.
I can only imagine the smells coming out of that thing, but only imagine the smells coming out of that thing, but
Jackal better do some shit. Jackal better do some shit. Jackal don't do shit. Jackal don't do shit now. Jackal don't do shit. Jackal don't do shit, bro. Jackal don't do shit. Jackal don't do shit. Jackal better do some 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 shit. Jackal don't do shit.
Nope. Jackal's becoming a Packer fan? No, that's the fake. That's the fake Jackal.
Fake Jackal.
It can't be the real Jackal. I saw the real Jackal today.
Yeah.
I saw him today at work. He's coaching. He's got his kids in 17 different sports.
Isn't he
going to
commissioner too?
farmers market, setting lineups and Excel.
I asked him how
sheets.
many games he had left, and he said 55.
Another 17 weeks, Shane. Sorry. See you in the off season.
Then let me do what I hired to do.
That's what Jackal said. He's got to do what he's got. They let him do what he's got to do. Coach Jackal.
What?
Yes. Soccer, baseball. This guy's doing it all. Yes, but we do miss you, Jackal.
You fuck yourself.
Claudio not here tonight. I'm gonna just say this. Just ask the fans of the show to send some positive energy towards Claudio and his family. Claudio lost his aunt the other day, and so his family is obviously in our prayers as well. He's celebrating his daughter's birthday on top of that. So Claudio,
I'm not even gonna play the drum.
oh, I thought you had it.
Smoke weed every day.
Oh, this is Claudio the Barber. Yo, 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 this is Claudio the Barber. Oh, this is Claudio the Barber. This is Claudio the Barber, and this is Shy City Sports, keeping it 100. Listen, it's Jesper Horsted's world, and we're just all living in it. Oh, this is Claudio the Barber, and this is Shy City Sports, keeping it 100. I see you, Sherry. I see you. It's Michael the fucking killer right here. All right?
Never mind. Take him off. I can't even understand him because of the mask. It's done. Take it off.
I was waiting for the Michael Myers.
The best.
Claudio the Barber's in our thoughts and prayers. I love Claudio. I just noticed Claudio doesn't have what Ivan has or Bratcher. He just has a mustache and then a beard going all the way around. Or you, Shane. You guys all bring it down, so do I.
Yeah.
But if you notice, Claudio, he just has a pirate mustache with a beard underneath it. No, what do we call this? Going down.
Goatee?
Is it a goatee? What is this whole thing?
I thought that's
Whole
what.
thing? Oh,
I thought the whole connector is all of that's called.
Like if you just shaved it
Goatee.
here, then it would be a goatee. But the full beard with this, is there something?
it's a beard. Beard.
Oh, yeah, it's called a beard.
It's a
dumbass.
beard. Like, what do you mean, dude?
Well, if you notice,
Just reviewing
Claudio,
I was
I
just
don't know what
reviewing the
he had.
tape, and
Smoke
you're
weed every day.
See it? What did you?
That's the Orton.
It's
The
the
Orton.
Kyle
That's a
Orton.
good one. I like
That's
that.
what we're gonna call it.
Neck beard.
Claudio loves Grossman, but where's the Kyle Orton? There you go. We love you, Claudio.
You know how I feel about stats. Really, stats are for losers.
I mean, if I'm going to root for a team, I want to give it all I got.
Next play. Pass.
There was no rhyme or reason.
Drove down the field. Mr. Montgomery breaks a huge run. If he scores on the run, you don't got to worry. But you do got to worry because he gets tackled at the freaking 15.
There was no rhyme or
Next play. Shotgun.
The tape never lies.
Bold prediction. What's your prediction? What's your
Tape never
prediction?
lies. Never does.
The old line is playing shitty. What's the skinny? No identity. If Nagy can't find it, there's a secret with the enemy. Red zone opportunity. Once again, they gotta settle for three. The reality of coaching when the defense has to carry the team. Prediction. What you think would happen versus what does. A light year from the Super Bowl and now we're losing buzz. Nagy has no answers, just predictions that don't change. The segment is the truth. Give it by the guys and feeling shame. What's your prediction? That bold prediction.
The tape never lies. Never does.
What's your prediction?
No, we're very economical, my family.
We are economical in this family as well, apparently. Bold predictions. It's been a
Breaking news. The tape never lies. Network breaking news.
Shout out, like I said, it's my daughter's birthday. She's 19 today.
Nice.
She's actually in Philly with her cousin at a concert, so please be safe down there.
Be safe.
Yeah.
You guys are assholes, dude.
But there you go.
Shout out to you. I love you, Adriana. Please.
Don't watch this show, Adriana.
Yeah, no, she don't. No, she don't give a shit. But
Timing was perfect. I love conversations, guys.
I got it up. Oh my god.
Bold predictions.
That was Claudio's daughter's birthday. That was the day that I found out that Riley was cancer free and Cherie was dressed up like a witch. It was a perfect day.
I guess so. That is a pretty perfect day.
As long as Cherie's happy, I'm happy.
I don't know what happened to the drop. He's a
Which one?
nice dick that everybody would
Still
love.
there.
It's there. Yeah, I just saw
Where
it.
is it?
I saw it too.
Oh, I
He's
missed.
a very nice dick that any woman would.
Okay, it's there. I couldn't find it.
I got it up.
I don't think these
Anyway.
bold predictions are going
Bold
to be very
predictions.
positive. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of dirty daggers in this one, I think. But
Before we predict, I gotta keep it 100 like the show. My family's been going through some health stuff, so the intention was to bring my father and me and Shane and Claudio and everybody to the New England Patriots game. But in true fashion of this show and network, I don't know if I was going to say anything or not, to be honest, but I felt compelled. Like, there's just not going to be able to go to this game. Just talking with my father, and it's unfortunate. I wanted to go, and I know he did, but right now, with some stuff concerning my mom and the family, it's not going to be in the cards for us to go. And I know Shane is dealing with something similar on his end, so I just hope you guys understand. Anybody that was going, I don't know if Claudio's still gonna go out there, but it's unfortunate that I'm not gonna be there. So I apologize for not.
yeah, no, I wanted to chime in too, and I know it's late notice, and I do feel bad, but no matter what, we have to stay true to what we preach, and that's,
family first.
Before the Bears, before this network, we are all nothing if we don't have our family. So I don't know if there's a train coming through or
Someone
Yeah,
brought
somebody
a
has
train
a
on
train.
track. Alan's train.
that
The A train.
Pratcher's ankle bracelet needs new batteries. Yeah, charge that thing.
It's Alan's
Get
alarm.
closer to the window, you asshole. That thing's gonna go off. No, but we have to. Hey, our parents, they're not invincible, and they get older every day, just like we do, and along with that comes more challenges, and sometimes that falls into your plate at the most inopportune times. So we like we should have to be there and be available, and if football has to take or our joy or passion has to take a back seat, we have to do that, because end of the day, what Phil's dealing with, what I'm dealing with on my end, it's very extremely, almost eerily similar situations, and we're still lucky. I'm 46, Phil's 49, and we still have both of our parents, and I mean there's a lot of people that don't, and
Right.
when things come up, Alan, and not to bring up bad things, but you know what I mean, you've lost both your parents, and you'd give anything to have them back, you know what I mean, to deal with things like this. You only have one mom, you only have one dad, so when things happen, football isn't so important. You gotta take care of family first, and TTNL, that's what we preach here, and that's the way we will always be. So
Well, I'm going to chime in on that and say neither of you have anything to apologize about, and we're all praying for you both with that. Absolutely, you guys. Family
I appreciate it. I really do. But I'm very transparent. I'm never gonna change who I am. Sometimes it gets me in a lot of trouble. Other times, In fact, you know what? I don't give a fuck. It's like I am who I am. The people that recognize the real recognizes real understand. Like I love people, and it will bother me. It will, because priorities, but you still owe that explanation, or someone really will take offense to it in this world, I guess. So I just think honesty of truth, it's not really I feel comfortable sharing, but I knew I had to, because I don't want someone to think anything negative. I want positivity in the air, and positive energy towards my mom and my family would be much needed and appreciated. So I appreciate that as we go into bold prediction. But I felt like I had to say it now because we're talking New England Patriots, and it just struck my head. So I didn't know if we would mention it in shout outs, but this show is family. We always talk about it. People, Greg Blache tonight, you could see he fit right in. And that's what we try to do, make people feel comfortable, but also they are comfortable because they know the game and they know the team. That's the key. If you're on here talking, fuck, what cotton shirts did you wear? Are you happy with all that stuff? That's just not going to do it. That's why I always just surround yourself with good people, and we go there. So, Ivan, to transition to prediction. Bears are playing on Monday night. Of course, let's go back on the national stage.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to go. Best. We're going to come back on the national stage against the New England Patriots. What are your thoughts here?
I'm really worried about this game. I more than anything, just if you're not prepared, you're going to get outclassed. Flat, hands down. You're just going to get outclassed. You're going to get run over. I think the Bears, I think this could be that darkness before the dawn type of moment where it could be a rough one. I'm going to go with the Patriots in this. I'm going to put up a 27-14 score. And I'm nervous about even giving them 2 touchdowns, the Bears. I think I really am. I think that the defense for the Patriots has been coming on. They shut down the number 1 at the time offense in Detroit. They've been on a roll, and with a quarterback who was a third string guy. He's not even their starter. I fear what Bill Belichick.
Funny, Ivan, how they bring in their third string, and he's fucking just coming, throwing, moving the foot.
Now there's a lot of talk that he may be the fucking guy for them moving forward.
It's true.
Well, I'm hearing that that's a lot of media-driven shit. They're trying to be.
But your head coach came out and wouldn't even commit. They asked him flat out, and he wouldn't commit.
Well,
to
he
Mac
never
Jones.
does it. He didn't do that with. He didn't do it with Brady. With
they also said the ankle for Mac Jones might be a part of the issue as well. But but the play right now through 2 games.
Well, he's playing good. I mean, What are you doing?
Obviously that Bill Belichick's going to do the things, or he's going to make sure that the offense is doing the things that are necessary to. First of all, the offensive line is doing a really good job at protecting Zappy or whatever, however you call him right now. So Zappy, that pass rush that's been non-existent for the Bears.
What's going to happen to Blache after the show if he doesn't change those fucking batteries in his ankle bracelet?
It's weird. Emmanuel brings up something that I was going to bring up. Is it true that if he wins versus the Bears, he passes George Hallis?
Yeah, what are the chances?
How fucking crazy is that?
I can't write that.
You can't write that.
No, you can't write that.
No.
Jeez,
yeah, they asked Velus Jones about that.
on it?
They asked Velus Jones about that, and he said, "Who's George Hallis?" I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Just piling
Who the fuck is that?
No, I don't think the pass rush gets to him. I think Zappy continues to roll. I think the running game is really what's gonna hurt the Bears the most, and the defense. I don't think the Bears escape this one. Bold prediction: I'll say Justin Fields throws for over 200 yards.
Nope.
Line is 7.5 right now, Phil.
7.5.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Money line's minus 375 for the Patriots right now.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty high.
Well, what was your predicted score? Because I didn't hear.
Oh,
that.
it was 27-14. Thanks, Ivan.
No problem.
Ivan. Oh, nice.
I love Alan.
27-14. Alan Bratcher. Great job getting Coach Blache.
Thank you.
And Todd McMillan.
Thank you.
Brian Urlacher. Who else did you get?
I'm working on a couple right now.
Okay.
I may or may not have gotten Ryan Poles' email and number.
That would be tremendous.
Just a minute ago. So
I would have.
We'll give it a shot.
So much more respect for Ryan Poles.
I thought you were going to say
on this show.
I'd respect you so much more, Alan, if you get
That's what I thought he was going to say too. I might
Bill's out here kicking motherfuckers straight in the dick. That's all right. Keep it on. Go ahead.
I love it.
I like Alan. I got nothing but respect.
Jackal. Fucking love it.
Actually, when I had utmost respect for Bratcher was when I completely had I like that video, no chance that he's going to be able to handle the moderator when we can. He came out guns a-blazing. It was awesome. He was awesome.
Breaking news. The Tape Never Lies Network. Breaking news.
I hate to pile on poor Rob. I had to point him out the other night, but J.C. Jackson plays for the Chargers, bro. So he's definitely not going to be there during the game. So
sorry. J.C.
I'm
Jackson.
a dick, but
Bratcher, what do you got?
Well, my score was actually 27-13. So I've
There
been
you
right
go.
off of you. And bold prediction for me, running back for the Patriots, Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's going to have 120, 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
I think they're going to run all over the Bears. I do. I'm worried about this game too.
I don't know what to say to it. I have.
When you got Bill Belichick, going up against him, he's going to game plan against them perfectly, Phil. You know that. You've watched him for years. He's going to completely isolate Justin Fields. He's going to keep him in the pocket. He's going to make him throw the ball. He's going to struggle. There's no chance for them this game. I'm sorry.
I will say this because I was going to say it before because you brought up Justin Fields. Justin Fields, watching the tape, I came away just knowing that he has a desire in him. Like,
I was going to ask
some
at the beginning of the
would
show.
not get up. Some
Phil, when
guys
you were
would lay down.
Push-ups.
Would you have him in your top 3 concerns about the Chicago Bears? Because he's not in mine.
No, that's the thing. I came
I'm not
away.
sure if he's in my top 5 concerns.
A lot of people wanted to debate, and I honestly kept it on the patron side, the throw to Griffin in the end zone. And I always put that on the quarterback. Whether Griffin's feet, you don't throw it in an aim. You throw it to the guy when you have a defender that close. That's why you make it easy for the guy. You're in control. That was the only thing. Everything else, he's running for his life. It's competitive spirit, energetically. Watching tape was even more pronounced than watching the game. And a lot of his teammates let his ass down. I'll tell you that right now. They let him down.
Seen throws that are NFL open, though, Phil, and he hasn't been throwing it to them, correct? Because
I put those on there too.
Yeah.
He misses some throws. He also missed football, especially in the red zone, is about leverage. If you formulate a formation, your job is to come up and check. And Justin is kind of one reading this, and he's got to get to the point. I mean, that'll come, but that play where he throws it off the defender's face and it bounces up. All he has to do is look straight. No, I already have the leverage. There's no way they can get outside that and cover him unless they switch. So I'm going there. He didn't even look there. And St. Brown walks in for a touchdown.
Yep.
So those things are where, and some of the mechanics and stuff like that, every quarterback can clean that up, but this team is so not helping this kid. And he's going to unfortunately either become a victim, which happens, guys, this NFL and the Chicago town and everything, they don't have patience for it, and neither will the team. So he's got to rise above it. And I felt like the tape told me that Justin has the ability to rise above this. I really believe. And to your point, Shane, he is not in my top 3 concerns about this football team. And he's a difference maker in this game. He's something Bill Belichick is having nightmares about right now, because he just finds a way to get out of there. The only mistake he made, in all honesty, in boot and getting out of one play, he should have just took off. Well, there's 2. The first one is fucking Braxton Jones ushers his guy in like fucking usher, and he starts to boot out that way. And if he just continues to run that way, he's back out of it. But he stops, pulls up, and then Sweat gets him from the other side. So, and then the other one was at the goal line, Shane. After the pass to Mooney that gets deflected, he escapes out to the left and he cuts up and tries to truck a guy.
Yep.
If he just runs to the cone, he outruns the DB and everybody, and he scores. So those things are things I would be working with him on this week. Like, trust your speed. Get outside. You always could cut back, but press them to chase you. And he would have scored. And the Bears need him to score. They really do. Fuck fake Jackal.
I saw that. That's what I laughed at.
Guys, quit making fake accounts. We're just going to block them. It's
so bad.
I just saw Chris.
Not even funny.
It was funny for about 1 second. Then it's right. Cherie.
Honestly, I would be excited if they cared about not letting Bill Belichick break the record, but I just don't think this team cares about tradition, history, or anything that the Chicago Bears represent right now. So I'm getting very, very deflated from this team. But my prediction
very frustrating to watch.
Agree.
I agree.
The prediction is Patriots 30, Bears 13. And David Montgomery goes for a big run and gets tackled at the 15.
And they don't. He's happy. I'm happy.
I'm sorry, Phil. I had to use that when I heard it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we gonna break total 100 yards rushing. I don't know. I have nothing.
Wow.
Oh, we're gonna find out. That's the fun. What was 30-13? You said
30-13. Yeah.
Okay. Shane, you want to go? Or you want me to go?
I can go. Yeah, mine's not even as optimistic as Cherie's. Unfortunately, no. I mean,
point lost.
Yeah, Bill Belichick, when he talks about a team and goes on and on and on about it, and praises a team, tends to do that for a reason and tends to punch them right square in the fucking face on game day. So I have New England 27, Chicago 6.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I have almost no
I have
confidence.
26-6.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I got 26-6.
Yeah.
6-6-6 for God's sake.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You bugged me
don't
out
have a lot
right
of
there.
confidence going into this one. Yeah, I mean, Bill Belichick, I think, is going to look at some of the guys that he's got to, other than Justin Fields, he's going to look at some of these, wide receivers and look at this offensive line first and foremost. And like you said, Phil, Judon's got to be sitting back and being like, oh man, I may get another extension after this week. And it's, I don't think it's going to be pretty for our Bears. What my bold prediction? Jesus, this is a tough one.
Justin Fields will make it through the game. How about that?
No, I don't even like to bring this. You know what I'll say?
We're jaded.
You're gonna see a splash play from Roquan Smith.
Okay.
Ain't predicting something like
Splash
Splash play. Yeah.
I'll wait for that.
Splash like cannonball or splash like in a puddle?
No, one of those plays that we've been wanting to see, and he's gonna,
almost blowing a sack again.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. No, I think he's gonna. I think Roquan's gonna have a good game against New England, but it's just not gonna be obviously enough. Bears have a long road ahead of them, like you said, Ivan. It's in true Shane Marsaw fashion, the two games leading up to Christmas are versus Buffalo and Philly, the two teams that everybody in my family roots for, except for me. So it's going to make for a volatile Christmas time in the Marsaw house, but we'll see how that goes.
He's going to go rent a motel for Christmas.
Yeah, just burn everybody's house down. Fuck them. I don't care. Family first, right? But yeah,
I got the Patriots 26-6. Listen, the only way the Bears can win is if they do what Cherie is talking about. You have to play. You go into New England, you're going to have to play your best and with pride. Watching them against the Commanders, there is 0.0 chance that you can beat the Patriots with that kind of performance on your offensive line. And that falls on Getsy. It falls on the offensive line coach. To see that tackle getting beat over and over, and you're not putting a fucking tight end consistently to help them, that's Cleveland Nagy level bullshit. It really is. Now, I know there's other leaks, but that's a rookie. That's a rookie. He needs the help right now. It's very clear. You just keep him on an island. Let Sweat beat the fuck out of him. Hope maybe Justin will stay up. Maybe he'll break out of it. Like, who? That was inexcusable. So hopefully we see some different edges, because the game is going to be there on the edges. There's no doubt David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert have a lot of talent to run the football if you get behind that. That would be the way. And then you're mixing in the pass, but you got to stay in the game with the run. You can't do what you decided to do last week. And you can't start those 5. I don't believe that they will do it. 26-6. My bold prediction is very difficult to pick one here. I believe that Justin Fields will continue to show that kind of toughness again this week. Or I can steal Ben Ricketts. The fullback finally will get the ball in the flat off of action. How about that ball prediction? Yeah. How about just
sounds like a Bratcher prediction there, Phil?
I don't have any. I don't have any bold. I feel like this team. I've never been more frustrated watching a football team.
Yeah.
It's so infuriating. So infuriating. But it'll be on Monday Night Football, guys. So the world will see what our Bear and New England Patriots are already chomping at the bit. They cannot wait to beat the shit out of the Chicago Bears.
What?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what that means?
That means it's time, Shane.
I think we hit it the same.
Shout out Tape Never Lies. Shout out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too. Shout out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too. From the fans in the stands to the follows on the gram. Thanks for your support, showing love in the DM. We stay Spencer strong, fight together till the end. Now it's time to shout out worldwide friends and fam. Like
the network that keeps it real, 100 crew. So many in the world that I gotta show love to. For some this part, signal show is at its end. But for me it's so important to thank the charter members and the fans. Built the network, speak the truth through the tape. Never run around the truth, no narratives we create. Set them straight, no bubble screen on 4th and 8. Claudio Jane getting nervous cause keeping them up too late. That's it, no more to say to get the shot of vital. But hurry up cause the postman's getting homicidal.
Shout out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too. Shout out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too.
The network that keeps it real. Sense is strong.
Hey, there you go. Yep, I like it. I like it. I like it.
Here we go. Shout outs, guys. Let's go around. Let's start with the lady of the house.
Aww. First and foremost, definitely shout out to Claudio. We love you. Prayers to you and happy birthday to your baby girl. So shout out to Claudio. And I mean, shout out to you too, Phil and Shane. I know I'm a person that if I'm going through shit, I shut down. I don't want to be bothered. So I commend you both for when y'all going through stuff, y'all still show up. And I know it's kind of a break away from everything, but the fact that y'all are here and still able to make this a fun night for all of us. It's very commendable that you guys. It's very commendable that you guys can do that even when you're dealing with your own personal issues. So shout out to you both. You know I love you both. Same thing to you too, Ivan and Alan. I know we don't always share everything we're going through with each other, but I know everybody's dealing with their own shit. So just I pray and add everybody to my list to say my prayers. Just hoping everybody have a better day. Just shout out to you all. Love you all. And thank you for giving me a break from the mundanes of my day-to-day life. So I appreciate all of you.
Well said.
Really appreciate it, Cherie. Truly do. Alan Bratcher. The Matrix.
The Matrix. The one.
Neo Bratch.
Neo Bratch. I gotta go with Claudio too, guy. Man, we're all thinking about you, Claudio. Shout out to you, man. Miss you. Hope to see you back next week, man. Stay strong. We all love you, man. And my other shout out this week is gonna go to Mr. Larry Vern Funkster Jones. This man bleeds this network. He's always repping us. Yeah. He's always on Facebook. He's always making comments, videos. This man is the king of the hype man for us now. Shout out to you, buddy. Thanks for repping us strong as always, man. That's it.
Nice. I love both those guys, Claudio and Larry Funkster Jones, and you're not even selling him short. He always is juicing the TTNL orange. Just always rocking, keeping it 100. The network, all the shows, everything. I love Larry. Hope to meet him someday. Truly, truly respect him. Ivan Vargas.
Yeah, I think Cherie and Alan said it best. So, shout out to Claudio. I hope all the best for you. I hope you're having a, somewhat of a good time now. I know it's been a rough weekend and stuff like that, but shout out to you. I know it's amazing to see how many people, how you miss Claudio's presence,
Right.
and on this show, on the fantasy show as well. Like it's like, damn, where the hell is Claudio? We went like you need. He's such a vital part to to this network. He's a great dude. I just wish him all the best. And same with Phil and you, Shane. Like you guys are going through some shit right now, and I wish all the best for you guys. You guys have been there for me, when I going through my stuff, with my family, and I just wish you guys all the best. You, Claudio, and Shane. A shout out to you guys.
Thanks, man.
We need the fantasy trio back together, Ivan.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta get them back.
It was just a hiatus this week. It was just 1 week. 1 week only.
They'll be back.
We heard what you were doing while you were.
Man, I fucked up.
Giving some kind of ride, we heard. That's what I heard.
Oh, yeah.
Ivan was doing something. What were you doing?
Yeah, he was giving some kind of ride. That's what they were talking about last night.
A ride?
Yeah.
They said I was giving out mustache rides. That's how I was,
we were in the chat goofing.
That's how I wasn't there. Yeah.
His code goes out the door.
Claudio hired him to draw logos because he's unemployed.
Keeping it fantasy. Tuesday nights. Claudio is missed. Ivan, Claudio, and Jackal. You missed Jackal. Tuesday nights he shows up. I'll tell you that. Shane, you got any shout outs?
Yeah, I do. I want to shout out a very special kid that this shout out portion is all about. Spencer Cox has surgery coming up where he is going to be getting his port removed. If you take chemo, there's a couple of different ways that you can do it, but Spencer has the port up in his chest that they hook up to. So he will be getting that removed, and then immediately after that, it's always a stressful time. He's got to have his MRI, and that will tell, if there's anything there. We have ours coming up again here with Riley very soon. It was actually scheduled for the 27th, and we had to push it. And after that, big, part for us because Riley goes back every 3 months, and after we go back here in the beginning of November, and as long as everything is clear on his MRI, we get to switch over officially to every 6 months. So that's doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you're a parent and those 90 days go by very, very fast, and I know Ryan Cox will share the same sentiment. It's you can be very, very confident, but you always have that seed of doubt in the back of your head, and it always is an extremely stressful time. So shout out to Ryan and his family, and most importantly Spencer, come through that okay. And the kid, he's been dealing with some sickness beyond it, nothing life-threatening like he was dealing with before, obviously, but Spencer just still to this day so inspiring, and I look at everything that little man has been through. No child deserves that, but it's just speaks to who he is just as a human, even though he's so young and so small. Like I said before, forget Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America. That's a superhero right there. Spencer Cox, somebody that you could make a movie about that's hasn't been on this earth very long, but he's lived a full life already. I want to shout out my niece, Sydney Tanner. She's a senior in high school, and Phil's heard a little bit of her accolades. She's does amazingly well in school, but she's a very gifted athlete, and specifically in softball, gifted pitcher. I don't want to get too much into where she's going, but she made her commitment to college the other night, about 9:30 at night. It was kind of a cool thing to see that happen and see the excitement and nervousness on her parents' face. Because she's the youngest in my sister's family with her kids, so she'll be moving on and playing college softball for a esteemed program. I'll just say that, so I don't. There's still some people that we're waiting on to let know. So shout out to you, Sid. It's a lot of years and a lot of hours dedication that you've removed yourself from a lot of things that kids grow up doing to sharpen your craft. And yeah, so it's a big deal around here. So shout out to you, Sydney. Love you, and looking forward to you doing big things. Like I said, I just want to shout out Riley one more time. We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of him being clean and free from cancer. So that's another milestone that we hopefully can kick down here in a few more days as we go. Hopefully get a clean MRI, because when your kids are sick, I know Ivan, you can speak to it. Phil, it's just football becomes secondary and to the back of your mind, and you want to talk about something that will I don't even know how to describe it, the stress that is involved when your child is fighting a disease or sick. It's just nothing that I would wish upon my worst enemy. And the way that these kids deal with this still amazes me. You could sit down with my son, you could interview him on this show, and you wouldn't know that he beat cancer last year. You would never know that he even went through it. So it's a testament to all these kids and how they respond. They're a lot tougher than he's a lot tougher than Daddy. That's all I'll say. So those are my shout outs.
Great shout out. Great shout out. Listen, you guys, everybody at the network, everybody that goes out of their way to share the network and everything we do here, we say it, but we really mean it. TTNL is family. I want to shout out Coach Blache for coming on tonight and really helping just reaffirm the things that I believe we've been preaching for years, and such a great, just amazing interview with a guy that has been doing football his whole life. We preach performance over politics. The Bears seem to play a little bit of politics, thinking that they're going to slide by. It's never going to work. It's never going to work. But Coach Blache, thank you for your time. Want to shout out my dad. Everything he does, he worries about this network, the fans, he even gets himself worked up about the Bears. He might be cheering for the Bears against his Patriots. That's how much he cares about the fans and the network and everything. He really hopes that the Bears come out and perform like they should. And what he's been dealing with, 82 years old, just he's an inspiration to me as a father and a coach and everything. Just a great showcase of his determination. He preached it in football, and he's doing it there. And thoughts and prayers to my mom. Shout her out and ask that patrons send that positivity, the power of prayer, whatever you believe. towards my mom. That would mean a lot to me. Lastly, though, my wife, just always in my corner. She's just, it's tough raising kids. It really is. It's really tough to raise kids in this day and age with social media, the environment. And my wife supporting this network, believing in what it is that we're doing. Shout her out as she takes care of the kids every Wednesday night, puts them to bed, showers them while I'm here.
That's not very nice, Phil.
Lastly, I want to shout out my brother from another, a guy. There'd be no TTNL Network without him either. And when you talk about surrounding yourself with good people and people that, I don't know, sometimes I get down, I get depressed. I'll keep it 100 with you. I have anxiety. What is going to happen? You know, you look for an outlet. The Bears, you keep doing that rat race, going to work, trying to be positive, and it beats you down, you know, sometimes. But there's people that build you back up. Jim Larison, I saw him in the chat, is somebody that I'm just so happy to have in my life. He saved us from an environment that was toxic and people that are users and abusers and neglect. And he showed us and pointed us in the right direction. And he continues to be the impetus of direction for me, having our back. And with everything we share here on the show, I'd be remiss to never give this guy enough credit. He's as genuine as they come. And I feel like, you know, their family, his wife, they suffered a loss too, but going through business, seeing his sons, and still making time to help guide us. And that, to me, says everything I need to know about him. So shout out to you, Jim, because today I feel so much better than I did a week ago because of you. I'm serious.
I know that's true.
I know. And I feel like we only get one life. We only get one life. And never regret not saying something. Never have that. I love Jim Larison. That's my guy. That's my guy. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed Keeping It 100. If you're not a patron, I don't know how I could tell you. $7. Might have to go up to $27 with the amount of fucking analysis. And I get it. The Bears aren't playing. So some people want to turn the page. I'm right there with you. But I can't. They got me. Football. It's the greatest game. And if you unravel it, you can win. The Bears can beat the Patriots. It's up to the Bears to look in the mirror and find the right answers and do the right things. Now, are you going to be confident enough in them to do that? No, you're not. None of us are until they do. And that's why we watch. For the rest of the crew here tonight, Cherie, Ivan, the super producer, Alan Bratcher, my guy, the Matrix. And for the smartest man, I'm your guy, Draft Dr. Phil. We'll be live on BHL. We'll be live tomorrow at Kramer's QB School. And we'll be live on X's with the O's this weekend, breaking down the Chicago Bears like nobody else. I'll see you next time. Keeping it 100.
The tape never lies.
Hey, fuckers. This is Brian Urlacher, and I'm keeping it 100 on the Tape Never Lies Network.
The tape never lies.
TTL, the tape never lies. Tape never lies. Are you friends with Adam Rank?
I am. Come on.
Phil, could you hear me?
You guys know the tape never lies.
Give me some name.
Come on, Shane.
Tape Never Lies Network, baby. Tape Never Lies Network, baby. Tune in.
I'm a born American boy, born in this land.
I tell you what, man. Justin Abner, I tell you what, man.
You could be better in the open field. That's all I said.
Brenton Gill's the fucking new punt god. I'm
fucking love it. I love it.
I grew a goatee because the only way people knew that I had actually gone through puberty is his hair either had to be here or here, and that was it.
These guys will tell you the best abilities is availability. Best ability isn't availability. It's accountability. You fucking nerd fucks.
There you go. Yep, I like it. I like it. I like it.
Fuck yourself.
Blame it on the bubble wrap.
I love all.
Jim Larison is faster coming out of the end zone than I see Ebner.
It's pretty true. I mean, that's true.
The tape never lies.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's gonna rise up?
Jeepers creepers.
I'm good. I'm feeling good about this week, man. I'm excited.
Yeah! And when we go,
I love all.
That's gonna get old.
Good, man. That's good.
More podcasts we listen to during the season and during the off-season.
baby. Sure. Have you watched The Matrix yet, dude?
The tape never lies. So, man, I fucking fucked up. But
The tackle did a great digger on my ass. I was like,
oh, man.
Claudio hired him to draw logos because he's unemployed. Ours was also supposed to be named after Dionne Warwick. That's so strange. Give me some fucking names.
You know how cold it is here, guys? I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for you, you know.
I got it up.
watching the Tape Never Lies Network. What her face can't.
She gotta work that ass for daddy.